I got you.
My man. All right, cool. Now that we're recording, how's it going, everybody? Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. And yeah, so this week, for this session, I think we should be looking at situations where, we're going to be the aggressor in late position and versus big blind defend. But not only that, finding situations where we need to be following through and double barreling. I assume some of us aren't barreling enough or we're barreling too much. And then we got to look at some different board types versus, boards that hit their range pretty well, various bet sizes. So I think it's going to help us be a little bit sharper in game in these situations. So first off, maybe looking at button. And I think kind of focusing in on, for me, I do a lot of work between, 10, 12, and 40, because it feels like when you get deeper in tournaments, you're obviously at the stack depth a lot. Early stages building a stack is important at 100 plus. There's a lot of different intricacies there. But this is like the meat and potatoes stack depths for when we get deep, right? But first off, let's look at 30 versus big blind. I know this is a very commonly studied spot, but you can never be good enough at it, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of bets, and then we'll look at the solver for our turn play, since we don't have the aggregate reports for that. So first off, probably just understanding our bet frequencies in a lot of these spots. And then what boards maybe we're mixing some check-ins. So first off, for anybody joining, 30 big blinds right now, Imposition versus big blind. This is a report we're using. We'll start on this page here. And then this is our range. We're opening, king 6 off, king 5 off, every ace, of course, all pairs, 4-5 suited 2 gappers down to 6-4. All of our suited aces, kings, and queens, and jacks as well. 10-4, your suited 5s, and then your offsuit 8s for the rest. Big blind's defend range, I feel like there's going to be a little bit more 3-betting once we look at the solver, the GTO charts up here. Maybe it's not, I feel like the range might be a hair different for 3-betting if you looked at another chart, but it's going to be close enough. But versus this range here, overall averages, there's a lot of numbers here, but you're only checking overall about 20% of the time. So that's going to leave us betting a ton of our range, in a ton of situations, and kind of seeing how we follow through in turn is going to be important today. But some of you may be checking. I work with students who are checking 50, 60% of the time in these spots. So to understand you shouldn't be checking much overall is kind of important. How about ace high boards? I know my man Luis crushes this spot, and he does a lot of work on it and says, you don't check ace high boards. Look at this shit, 2% here. The rest of it, you have a fair amount of check on these boards. So that common rule we find here is, 3 low cards, 8 and under, you're probably going to find your highest check frequencies when there's 3 of those cards on the board at the same time. But outside of that, you're going to be checking a shitload. Betting a shitload. How about bet sizing? Where do we get to use the big bets, right? You have 10 high boards. Looks like the highest frequency. 8, oh, that's bet 2. I'm sorry. We go over here. That's bet 5. And then we have some bet 7 as well. 8 high boards has a lot of bet 7, which is an overbet. Bet 5 is in there. These 8 high boards. So you're betting big and infrequently, it looks like, as well.
So we're checking mostly 6, 7, 8, 9 high boards.
Yeah, you're not mostly, and you look here, you're still betting more than 50% of the time on these boards. But, if you have 3 of the cards on the board at the same time, I think those are boards where if we ran those, we're going to be checking.
You see that a lot with these kind of boards, because usually the caller has more of those boards in their range than we do, right? So
yeah. You want to be
Gotta
more
be cautious.
cautious.
Exactly.
Yeah, like on 5,
Okay.
6, 7, or 6, 7, 8, they're just gonna have 2 pairs.
Where you're under the
two
gun, you have
pairs,
none of
all
it,
this shit.
right?
Yeah.
But this is
Okay.
button. I mean, this is button versus BB.
Okay. So you have more 7, you have more 7, 8, and 9. Actually, you have
mean,
more
eight-
8 and 9.
8x,
You open,
9x.
you open your offsuit 8, so the 8
Yep.
high is the ones that you bet big on. If you see there, the 8 highs.
Yep,
Yeah.
because
Or
Okay.
the
your
8 high
higher
board.
bets because you open offsuit 8s.
7 and under, we
Yep.
start to shy away, right? Because
Yeah, because we don't have those in our offsuit range.
Right.
Anytime
Right.
you have your offsuit
Right.
range, the bottom of
This
your
is-
offsuit range is where you start to bet bigger.
Always in these spots. Yep, because
Yep.
we get to go big as shit with ace 8, king 8.
Yeah.
stuff
And
like
that's
that,
for
right?
mostly any of your spots, like the cutoff hijack. If you work it backwards, you'll see
So
that
big.
when you
Even though
get to
they
your
have all
offsuit
this.
range. Cause you have more of those, right? You have more combos of offsuits than you do of suited. So
Right.
when you get to your offsuits, that's why you can bet bigger, because you have more of them, more combinations that you can bet with. That's why that does that.
And
Okay.
then we go down here to overall EV averages. I mean, overall EV, we're just gonna be crushing it in position. And then the bet sizes, I don't really pay too much attention to it. All that information is kind of like here. Our most frequently used bet size is probably going to be the highest EV in a lot of situations, and obviously it depending on what portion of our range we're in. EV averages, we're just going to be crushing EV in these spots like ace high boards. This is why you're just never checking, right? Like we just have them crush there. And
Yep,
then
nut
it's
advantage,
pretty
yeah.
close, yeah, like nut advantage, right? And then these boards, it's a bit closer, right? EV, like it's pretty close. Like we still have an EV advantage in all these situations just because we have aces, the nuts, and all the same top pairs, especially on 8 high. And then it gets down to 7 high and stuff like that. These boards, it's much closer, right? So
Yeah, sure. They might wake up with the ace high, but more often than not, you're gonna have that range
Right.
advantage. That
and most
You
of the
got the-
time when they have ace high, you're gonna have better ace high.
Yeah, you
Well,
got the
they're-
dominating aces. He
Well,
doesn't.
look at this.
'cause-
Like, yeah, they're just they don't have the top of their range here. Ace jack, ace 10 plus, just 3-betting at almost 100% frequency, which leaves them pretty stripped and all having all these weaker ace X for the top of their range, while we still retain all the strongest
Yep.
ace X, right? So that's just the easiest takeaway for ace high boards, and
Mhm.
people are just wrecked on
Especially-
those. Yep. How about
especially when they
boards?
just call pre-flop. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Check frequency, never check. How about boards you're never checking? Paired. But nonetheless, ace 8-4, queen, ace, king. High paired paint boards, never ever checking. The check frequency still hasn't hit 1%. So
Right.
this is,
You don't check any paired board, right? Deuces, threes, all that stuff.
I wouldn't say that.
No.
I'm just you're probably not going to be checking a lot of pair boards at all, but the high paint boards here is what it's showing. It's
Oh, like
king,
like-
queen, and we'll kind of get to that. We'll look at some of the other type of paired boards as we kind of move along. But right now it's just showing our high paint. We're going to get to bet a lot there, but I don't want to segue off path too much.
poker is hard.
Yep, it's super hard. But we're going to still be betting at a very high clip versus big blind, even on all paired boards. I would assume.
Yeah, basically what you're never gonna check is if it's 3 of a kind on the board.
Nope.
That's gonna be like 100% bet.
Yeah, we're still like these ace high boards. I mean, and then we're still at 10 high pair. We see here, we're still at 1%. Like this is I think it's easier to look at boards where we may be checking, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
you can just almost
I
bet
guess.
when you get to bet 80% of the time. Let's find the times where we're not betting, because all right. And these
Yeah,
boards,
that makes it
right, they
easier,
look
yeah.
really bad, right? These boards look really bad for us, and we're still betting 45% of the time or so. Like,
You're just leveraging those paired boards and the other, like Pete said, the trips boards. You're just leveraging your pair advantage because you have aces through deuces when he doesn't because he didn't 3-bet. So you take those out of his range. You're just leveraging your pair advantage on those paired boards is why you're betting so much.
What's up, Jambalance? No, we do not have access to the spreadsheet. No, sir, Bob. Unfortunately, this is something we work on and create, and it's just for these kind of sessions and ourselves. But you have access it by joining this study session, my friend. So enjoy. Boards, even 55%, 50% of the time on these boards, right? Like this board feels like, holy shit, it's really bad, and you're still betting it at a reasonable clip, and you're never bet 7 frequency. How about our big bets? Yeah, we do overbet. I mean, we mix, you know, 20, 30% of the time when you are betting, you're going to just use a big sizing. You're checking half the time, but it looks like they're betting mostly big and infrequent. You still have some smaller bets here, but we're big a lot.
What
3,
ha-
4,
what
5. Go ahead.
what happens in in game when you don't do you're not betting as much as GTO? Then do good players run you over? Do they start exploiting you and saying, hey, he's not betting here, maybe he has like a not so good range kind of thing? Is that what happens?
I mean, if you're not betting as much as you're supposed to, a good player is going to just lead, turn, and exploit. But I mean, your strategy should be balanced. And some of your checks in these situations are going to be able to call turn.
We're
not just checking to cap our range. We're going to have a pretty balanced range. We're also probably do have some check give ups, but
it's going to be situational, of course, but you're also like not getting max value, and you're also not getting max bluffs through and all that stuff, right? You want to make sure you're getting that stuff too. There's a lot of value in getting max value and getting bluffs through.
And I will say, I mean, looking at some of these boards did look super bad. I think we're probably checking a bit too much. Like this is only 50% of the time checking, and I look at it and it feels like, ew, you know, in some of these spots, like
if you're not playing like this, you're basically a nit.
I wouldn't say that. You know, you just don't know. Nobody just does. You don't know what you don't know, right? I mean, we're just doing the best we can. I wouldn't say you're nit. It's just finding the appropriate type of ranges to bet. You know, what are we doing with all of our king highs here? And we just ask ourselves these questions and get better. You know, and that's why we're here. It's poker's hard as hell. Keep looking at some of these boards. As you can see on the boards that look the worst for us, right, or look the best for the big blind, we still are betting about half the time, even a little bit more. And then our bet sizing, and we're using some very big bet sizing on some of these boards, right? Like 29% over bet, like even at 30 big blinds, I still don't see enough over bet or big bet C betting in this spot. And I think too many of us are making a mistake of when we do actually bet going small, and we have the mistake of probably over checking some of these boards. So we got to find.
Have a heuristic? Does anybody have a heuristic or a hack as to which boards we most frequently bet big?
It's gonna be like these boards, low card, 8, 7, 8 highs, where you're gonna be betting your top, and then some of your over pairs that need protection. But that's just the way. And then you have some of your bluffs that block. That have some of the same characteristics as your over pairs, where you use as a big bet as well on some of these boards. But yeah, we're just gonna have to look at it for some of these. I mean, I imagine.
I feel like you saw on the previous sheet that it's a lot of 8 high and 9 high boards.
Yep. Yeah, you could see like 8 high, 9 high boards. Yeah, we can see our biggest bet frequency average. So we go back up here. Bet 7, 8 high boards, 9%. Like, look at this. These 4 right here are our highest over bet frequency. And I think that's going to do with us having, you know, the top pair, and that needs a lot of protection in some of our over pairs. And then hands that kind of have those same characteristics as bluffs.
Those boards are interesting because they're very polarizing. We're betting big, or we're actually, and they're also our highest checking frequency.
Yep, big and infrequently.
Well, they hit both of our ranges too, right? But more, whatever. I mean, they hit both of our ranges, but we're still betting. And then we bet like smaller and an ace high, king high on face card boards.
Yeah, here you go. We can just look at that, man. Here, just let's go with our most common boards to just bet big, right? This is all over bet, right? 9, and none of these are paired, as you can see. We won't get to a paired board. It's not a thing. And then all the boards here, ace, 8-5 rainbow. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, I
So
find
it
this
likes
because
nines and
I
eights.
think
But it also
the
does
default
50.
is for us to look at these boards and say, oh, these have low cards, they're good for the big blind. But in reality,
Right.
we're polarizing because a lot of times our range is supposed to have top pair.
Yeah, we're gonna have top pair. For frequency, if you're opening correctly in these spots, you should be opening your offsuit ace, so which means you have ace 8, king 8, right? Not and then queen 8 and stuff like that, which can go big and get a lot of value from 6x, what they should always call all their worst 8x. Some of their draws need to put in money, right? On 8, 6, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, gut shots, 7, 4, stuff like that. So they're gonna have to put in money in some of these spots, and we just need to go big. What other kind of boards?
Max
Jack,
value.
7, 6.
The
Yeah.
max value spot there too. Stack the
And
other ace, stack the worst aces. That's what you're doing.
at the very top here, you see the textures of rainbows. Well, I know 9-5 deuce is one of my the board I use. Some deeper stack depths from EP. 9-6-4. 9-5 deuce. There she goes. That's a board I always go big one. With some of my range.
I assume flush draw boards are going to favor the big blind a little bit more because they like to call
7.
with
There's some
suited flush.
there's some two-tone boards in here going big as well. So we have all this. How about, well, this is also gonna kind of follow the same kind of I'd imagine it won't be too much of a difference. Yeah, some of these king high boards now, you just start going very big, going like 75% pop or so. Ace, queen, jack, ace, 9, 8, very connected. Still just need to go a big sizing here. I think we autopilot go 30% on some of these boards. It mixes, it's fine. These boards actually just never ever go small. How about boards we never use a small sizing? Sorry. Bet 1 frequency. What? Oh, they're all paired boards. Oh, so
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I was about to say, yeah, I didn't see that at first. So the paired boards are actually just stabbing tiny as well. Okay, somebody was asking about the low card pair boards, right? 4, 4, 3, 3, 5, 5, deuce, deuce, ace, 8, 3, 3. You know, some of these lower
Right.
middling ones, right? That he can have a lot of. It's still just betting very frequently and just tiny 1 at 30.
Okay.
Cool.
I mean, on the button, you're
quarter pot.
gonna want to do a lot of C betting either way, right? You're gonna
We're only
Yeah,
checking
balances
20%
you
of the
out.
time, sir.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have this 30 versus big blind. I want to look at maybe fly through cutoff and hijack, and then we're gonna get into GTO wizard. Then I'm gonna manufacture a couple different boards, connected, disconnected, and then we're gonna play versus the solver and look at some turn situations, change some turn cards, and look at our turn barrel frequencies. But let's look at the graphs. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to see here? On this spreadsheet, there's a ton of data, and I don't want to just fly through it. But as we have so much data and things to cover, I don't also want to hover too much time.
Sixes, real quick, do you mind sorting by imposition equity?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No problem. That's low. How about high? Imposition equity, and then we look at the board types. Assuming ace highs are just gonna be crushing. Ace, king, yeah. So it is sorted by it now, and then here's our board types, and it is just dripping aces. I mean,
Yeah,
queen,
so
10, 10s
2
in there.
broadways, ace, king, ace, queen.
Yep. It's literally the stuff they just cannot have in their hand, right? They cannot
It's in our
have
wheelhouse, yeah.
ace jack. They cannot have ace queen. They cannot have ace 10. Whoops.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Do you want to see anything else with the equity? How about equities where out of position has their highest equity boards? So that's a good one. What is the highest equity? Ooh. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. It just looks so bad.
Those are their
3,
donkey
4.
boards.
Yeah, this is the boards they get to
Middling
actually dunk
connected,
on.
3-liners,
6,
yeah.
7, 8.
But even
Three,
then, our
six,
equity
four,
is
two.
still within 5 points. I mean, it's not atrocious.
Yeah, it's super close here.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
just
I feel like
sucks when you get check raised on these boards and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah,
You're
you
just
actually use
dead.
the big size and get check raised. You want to
Right.
throw up.
You're
It's
just
like
dead.
I lost.
I think like for me, in my opinion, the worst boards are like the ones that complete straights for the big blind. You know, like 5, 8, 9, or 6, 9,
Okay.
10 kind of thing. Yeah.
Another thing to take here, we knew we were betting big on some of these boards. These boards are actually, the equities are close. You can never, ever use the overbet or big sizing, even with your overpair. So look at this, okay? So 4, 5, 6, you have none of the giant size. You have no overbets on these
Yep.
boards, right? Okay.
Again, yeah.
We did have overbets. They're not on these, on these 3. These are 3 card. A lot of these boards are 3 low cards under a 6 and a 7. Or 3 cards, 8 and under, just connected. So we got to be careful when it's disconnected, right? Where they could just flop a straight.
You got queens and you get check raised on that board. You hate your
You're
life.
dead. I mean, you feel sick. They have 2 pair plus every
Yep.
time. Yeah.
Yep.
Or just some combo draw that's never missing. It feels really bad.
That's true.
So, okay, yeah. Thanks for calling that. I love looking at the equity. This was a very important, good takeaway as well. So cool. Anything else anyone want to see here? Anyone want to see here before we move on to the equity and the equity graphs and stuff? Great. So now that we are in the graph section, let me move this over. We kind of did a quick overview of some of our EV and equity averages, but in position is yellow. Out of position, big blind will be the red. And then the EVs, both green. The right graph is going to be us, left graph for the green will be out of position, big blind. So overall, ace, we start from the left. So maybe I need to make this spot a little bit smaller, maybe 125. Yeah, that's better. Paired boards, we're just crushing it. How about we'll start at ace high boards, 120. That's where we just obviously have the most equity realization, EV, everything we're crushing. Out of position, where does it get close? 6 high boards, my goodness. 5 high boards is very close as well. Where's the one graphs? Wait a minute. Oh, this is the one I wanted to see. I'm sorry. I don't really fuck with that one too much. Excuse my language. Paired boards, betting 60%, only checking 11%. On the paired boards, rainbow 17%, just practically never checking. These are just overall 2-tone boards. You're gonna flop more flush draws and things to continue with. Do check a bit more on these kind of boards, but still betting a lot. Monotone boards, practically never checking. 5 high. So, okay, here we go. These 3 sections here, 5, 6, and 7, 45, 44, 44. We looked at it earlier. They're all there together. Feels bad, man. Ace high boards, 2%. And you use some big sizings here as well. And that is because we want to get max value from that region of their ace high range that needs to continue to a bet. So king high boards also very infrequently checking. We're using a lot more small bet sizing on king high boards because they do retain a ton of king X in their range. Queen high boards kind of the same. And then as the boards get lower, we're checking less frequently, and no small bet, big bet on these boards. Look how infrequently we're going small. 4, 5%, 5%, 6%. And this is the bet 2. And this color, this darker, almost gold, is bet 5. Overbet is the orange at the bottom. And we have the most overbetting on 8 high boards. Ace high boards, which ones do we just get to bet the biggest on the most frequently? Ace, ace low, Is that pair? Oh, that's not, that's just ace. Okay, I see. Ace low disconnected. That's not a pair board. I'm kind of confused. Is it mean ace high?
I don't know.
Oh, just I was wondering. Toad's probably. I think Toad had a meeting he had to go to really quick. Ace mid, ace mid low, like ace 10, ace jack.
You have
X.
ace high.
Yeah, no, this is when ace.
Oh.
But it doesn't say
Ace
paired.
high. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't say paired.
Yeah,
Oh, right,
it should be paired, right? I guess. Ace.
Yeah, you just have to know it's paired. You have the paired sample above.
I
and
don't think it's paired because ace. Let me see something now.
Ace. You have paired aces with a high card.
But it says disconnected. Maybe so.
Yeah, that's because
I
the,
don't
like, the
think we
mid
had-
Well, it
card
can't
is
be connected
disconnected.
if it's paired.
Like ace, 8.
No,
It's
ace 10
disconnected.
isn't connected because it's only,
Yeah,
you have two, like, you don't have 3 cards. So 3 cards is connected, like ace, jack 10. But ace 10 isn't connected.
Oh, let me see if we have big bets.
Because
Toad
I
have any-
have the same setup he has, and I noticed that. I figured that out pretty quick.
We have no big bets. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. Maybe we do. I just want to see something. If we ever go large on this, and then ace. Nope. Nah, we never go big. 3, 4, 4 is the only one. So yeah, it doesn't mean ace. I think it means like high cards for some reason. I'm sorry. We only go small on the paired boards. I mean, very frequently. So this saying 5 is kind of confusing. I think it just means high. Because I mean, ace low, we just don't use big sizings on the ace high pair boards.
So you want to use low side. You don't want to ever bet big and then get raised. That would be the worst. Or you're just betting
on the
low.
ace high pair board when we have it, it's not bad.
You're just gonna stack a worse ace because he doesn't have his best
Yeah, but I
aces,
just
right?
don't think.
Okay.
Strip
But
aces
I mean,
ain't
if you're
nobody
just
ever
using
folding
this-
an ace, so. Yeah,
But I don't think you would just do this with your entire range. You're just better off just going small and getting value from worse. And that ace is gonna stack. We're gonna get max value from the ace on later streets anyway, right?
Right. This is a guideline. So betting kind of low on paired boards and betting the biggest
No.
on 8, 8 and 9. No.
Oh yeah, I just think this is labeled incorrectly.
Okay.
Not meaning aces and high like paired board. Because here's our it says paired here, right? Or paired, this is paired. This is paired. His paired categories are thing, and they're all betting very small. So I just wanted to point that out for all the paired things categories and not just interpreting this as ace 6 or something like that.
I
That's
see
not what it is.
disconnected is disconnected and paired is paired.
Correct.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So yeah, just using some bigger bet sizes on some of these ace high boards, right? Because they're really good for it. How about Broadway? Yeah, we do have about half the time on paint, king, jack 10, king, queen, jack, stuff like that. We can go big or small, kind of mix our sizings on these boards. You can just use a lot of small betting, not much checking overall. 33% here, 40% on high, mid, low, but mostly just betting a lot overall. High, low, 2 high cards. This is paired. This one's paired boards. This paired board actually says it's going using a big sizing, and it's 0.32 checking. That's so funny. Just never checking.
those are non-aces, though. Those are king, 4, jack, 4.
Yeah,
things like
just
that.
never ever check.
It's never checking high, low, but it is checking high, mid.
The aces are the only exception, yeah.
Yep, high, mid, low. King 8, 7 and stuff like that. I guess low king 8, 5, king 8, 4, stuff like that. Queen 8. Mid boards, mid 50% of the time. Now we're starting to get in there. Here's the mid, but it's connected. I mean, it's paired, excuse me, 8, 8, 6, stuff like that. Connected boards. This is kind of an interesting one here. We just never go small, really.
So am I wrong in saying that in the button, the ranges favors eights and higher and paired boards, face cards, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're just gonna have a pretty big equity and range advantage across the board on a ton of situations outside of situations where there's 3 low cards specifically connected and 8 and under. Those are about the only situations where the equity runs close and we're betting maybe sometimes about half the time or less. Every single other instance, we get to bet more than 50% of the time. About paired boards, great for us. Everything we're just eating, as you can see. And then we're going to get to the low board. Yeah. These are the boards where we're mixing a bit more, a ton of check. Like this one's 50, this one's 50. These are our highest check frequencies throughout. And then the low board. So low. Here it is, 52%. Right. And low is going to constitute like these cards right here. So cool. We have that. Maybe should we look at something shallower or a bit deeper? What do you guys think? We have both. The wizard, we won't be able to practice some of the situations. I think 40, 50 or something like that's not working, but I have 15 to 35 in there, or 20 to 35.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know, difference between, 30 big blinds and, 100 or whatever the case.
What do you guys think?
And betting.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
Q&A.
we've just gone over 30 big blinds, right? So it makes sense to practice on 35 big blinds if you have it.
Like 40 or something like that. So we have 1 vote for 40 and 1 for 100. You guys want to see something deeper, see if it changes, or do you guys kind of want to stick to looking at the shallower stuff, since I think there's a lot of value in knowing. Plus we're going to look at barrel spots when we're shallower. I think I kind of did set the study session up today as shallower, my friend.
I kind of glaze over when we begin to look at multiple
sheets.
Yeah, multiple sheets.
Yeah, I just have to look at one more. I think we got to go to something a little shallower. Whoops, I messed up. I agree with it. We won't spend too much time on it, and then we'll get into the solver and getting around. But we just looked at 30. Does much change at 20? Do we still have overbets? Do we just mostly use smaller versus big blind? I think this is 20 BB versus.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I don't know. I think when you start getting 15 big blinds and below, I mean, I'm not sure, around there, 10 big blinds.
I don't think we have version. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. We want to have smaller bets, bigger bets? What do you think?
I don't know. I guess bigger bets, you want to just start getting stacks in, right? When you're blind, when you're like 10 big blinds, 15 big blinds.
I would think
a top pair is more value heavy,
right?
I guess.
We don't have the version with everything here, so we'll just do a quick overview before we move into the wizard. This is the buttons range, opening range. It has us just ripping, and you'll see this kind of commonly some of these suited aces, and then some of these offsuit middling aces with good raw equity and balance with some pairs. And then the big blind, when we do open, we're getting ripped on by a ton of their offsuit aces and pairs. 3-bet by their strong linear portion, mixing some of the suited connectors, and then jammed on by some of their king X. Overall averages at 20 big blind. We are going to be checking overall substantially more, significantly more. In this report here, we are only checking 20% of the time, and this is 30 bigs, right? We get down to 20 big blinds, we are checking 42% of the time.
So that makes a lot of sense. So as stacks get shallower, you're going to be checking c-betting a lot less.
Damn. Yeah, I think I'm mad. I just look at this, I forget about this. It feels like I'm c-betting too much, just looking at it like shit. At this, especially at 20, I still think population may overfold to it. So let's kind of take a look and see. 13%, the king high boards. Is this busted? You're checking half the time? No, this is busted. Is it? Really checking this much on these boards? I wish Toe was here.
Could it
What's the
be,
stack-
I'm
what's the stack
postulating,
depth?
here, but could it be because
20 bigs. Man, we were checking. a
that much
shit
easier
load.
for us to get in our stacks by?
Yeah, your SPR is gonna be shallower, so you can just get it in on turns and rivers.
That's what I was thinking in the big blind
Hmm.
where we're against is gonna wanna get it in like with just about anything as well.
Just
So
a
they're
lot of
gonna
bets
check
small.
jam a lot on us.
No overbets, some
Most.
big
This is-
bets.
We
So-
have
so-
to get in a solver for this. This is gonna be deep. I mean, because this is a ton of checking.
Yeah, I feel like what's going on is that,
Am
I mean,
looking-
in my intuition, like, you know, you kind of, I don't know, you want they want villain to, you're doing a lot more checking because on turn and river, you kind of want them to catch up to something. Is that what you guys were leaning towards? I mean, on king, so you're checking more on king high boards when you're shallow. I mean,
checking half the time on a lot of these spots.
Half and half,
Like
yeah.
it's literally just half the time in a lot of these spots. And I
right, so you
mean,
don't,
10 high boards, it's jack high boards are checking 50%. Yeah, let's look at, I gotta
Right.
just look at this real quick, some of the boards and why. So let's. These ace, a lot of our ace high boards still, we're only checking 13% on ace high boards, right? Check frequency, ace, king, 100% check. This is checking all these paired boards. Is this broken?
right, I don't want to confuse myself on thinking
confusing myself as
why
well.
GTO does what it does. I mean, I'm not sure why it does what it does, but
That looks a little bit suspect.
It does to me. It looks broken,
Yeah.
right? It looks, but it looks like I'm. Wait a minute.
There's no way all those
Yeah, I don't
flops
think
are
that,
100%.
yeah, it seems like that's not a hundred
Maybe it's
percent
not.
check.
yeah.
Check
Yes, this
back,
is,
yeah.
Wait a minute,
Yeah,
dude.
no.
Let's look. Okay, let's just get into this right now. And plus, they have reports in here, and I've been working with someone who's very proficient.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
GTO
you can
Wizard
cross-reference the
every
same reports in here. They do the same reports in here. You can see
Correct,
it if
correct.
it's right or not.
Yeah, it's a good-
Yeah, because I
So-
just pulled it up as well, and on their reports, like king high with a medium and low paired is checking at 59%,
It might be.
and that's the
good.
highest check percentage.
I don't know. That's crazy.
But that
Okay,
was,
yeah, that
means
one
you're
had
talking like-
100%.
you're talking like king 9-9 or king 8-8, king 5-5.
This is, I think he griefed this one. I
Yeah,
think
those
this
are
report might
actually,
be
but even
griefed.
those are checking at a lower percentage because the highest check percentage on the report GTO Wizard is king 5-5, king 7-7,
Yeah,
king
yeah,
4-4,
yeah.
two-tone, and that's at 59%.
Yeah.
It's so nowhere close to 99%. And then in GTO
What about
Wizard,
the
Yeah,
what
that
about
makes
the
sense.
sense.
king 5s or king?
We'll look at GTO Wizard. I'll just.
The high card paired,
let's
king
see.
9, king 4, king, you know,
Hold on.
jack
let me-
6, stuff like
let me
that's
go
where
in.
it said it was 90%.
Yeah, I
I
want to
have-
stay on. I want to stay on track here as well, guys. I don't want to
Like-
get too far off track with everybody.
I
Like
just want to say, I
your
have
paired
faith.
king boards like king queen 46. When you get down to like king 9, it's 28% checking.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what
And
I
there's
have. as
like,
well.
and
I have it.
GTO Wizard has like no big bets at all.
You wouldn't bet those big.
No, so yeah, I mean, I just moved it to the cutoff to make sure, and just see, and yeah, we're only checking 26% of the time versus.
Yeah, that's a
This
lot.
is-
dude.
And then it would be, I mean, this is reasonable. This
Your
seems
paired
like
boards, you're
normal.
betting small a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
60% they're down at the bottom. So,
We'll get into this because I feel like this is more fun at this point. We've been in here.
Yeah,
putting in
just run it.
work. Let's just start running it and focusing in. So first off, let's maybe start kind of categorizing some boards, board types, so we can think about some concepts going into our turn play. So, and then kind of build from that. So we'll start with, I had connected in there. I was working on, let's go connected, with a flush draw. And then we can go, well, should we do any board type? No, let's just do connected flush draw any. So it'd be like two-tone boards, pretty connected. Let's see how they treat us. Game, and then just a reminder, we are doing 20 to 35. We're going to start on the flop, single raise pot. We are going to be playing, let's just go cutoff in button versus the big blind. GTO big blind.
I'm curious about, when you looked at GTO Wizard, did it have a one big blind C bet?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
It's
I
got
don't think Cho had that in Pio. And if you go with that
Right.
10% or one big blind C bet, you're gonna get a lot more betting, I
a lot
think.
more. Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, I think, I think you're right, actually. You do get to bet a lot more. It would just give us more options. But
Like 10% or 15%.
I just
yeah.
need some generic.
Yep.
Yeah. Because
Smaller you go, the more frequent you can bet because you're going to do that with a lot of your range. So
Yeah, and I've done that playing around with like GTO plus. If you take out the small bet, then it checks a lot more.
Do not mess with this. Standard race pass, start training, and then we can look at some of the reports, and then we'll call on you guys. While the person is kind of answering, let's be respectful and not kind of cut them off while they're kind of giving their thoughts on the situation, so we can kind of all help each other out more in the end, and kind of go from there. So who do we have? B Money. What's up, my friend? Do you want to do this? Play this first hand if you're out there.
Sure. I'm probably gonna screw it up. I'll say
It's a
bet
hard
one.
one. I think it's a hard one. Right off the bat.
All right, my man. What do you want to do here?
Bet 1.9.
1.9 is going to go 33%. Anybody doing anything different?
Check.
I heard a check. I don't think I'm ever checking.
I'd go 20.
Yeah, one of these
This
two.
is probably the really small one because
I think I check. The thing is, like, I think another big difference between ace high board and king high board is the big blind's gonna be jamming a lot of the offsuit aces. So they have a lot more kings in range.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I think you check a lot on king high board. So I would probably just check this.
18% betting. The EV is higher for
Check.
betting, but you're doing it more frequently. But this is a higher EV play. Is betting. But
keep
you're
yourself
doing
on
this more
track.
frequently. Now here we go. We're gonna look at some turn play today and a lot of stuff like that, kind of in depth. So we do bet. Get ripped. Check raised right away.
Right, it's better to bet fold than to check call. So I mean, a lot of people check
Where
here
you-
with under pairs, right? I
I
mean, or what's the? So we're on the.
No, we just did. The solver just told us it mixes and it's fine to bet.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
it's fine.
We're
Your
fine too, so
range
we're not
can
check
support a
calling.
bet. Yeah, your range can support a bet. We're on the button.
All right.
We're fine. Yeah.
Right, it's not a mistake either way, checking or betting. Okay.
No. Nope. B Money, you giving up?
Yep, done.
Get him out. 99.7. You do anything else, you're griefing it. Let me think. Let me see here. How does the rest of our range play in this spot? So we go back to button. Here's our range. As you can see, we're only checking 17%. And the under pairs there kept where you're not feeling it or still just betting out of every high frequency hands like 3s, 4s, 5s.
Yeah, worst ones.
Strategy plus EV, you kind of see the EV of your decision. Betting is slightly outperforming checking, and most of these instances, checking's not performing horribly bad. You know, we're talking about 1,000 of the big or whatever. 7s and 8s for your under pairs are going to be your most frequently checked. 9s and stuff like that. All these
Yeah, too
little
good to
ace
bluff.
highs. Yep. Just being able to bet a lot. You're actually able to check some of these middling kings as well. For pretty reasonable EV, I think I'm just betting a ton in this spot. Obviously, your open-ended bet. But let's say we do bet the 33% and get called. Look at a few different cards that are good for both ranges, right? And like see how we continue, what portions of our range we should be bluffing with, right? First, we'll look at some of the blanks when they do call and check to us. We get to a turn, it's a blank. How are we going to follow through with our bluffs, right? First thing to note here, a lot of our range, we don't have the small 33% size, so we're not going to be going 33%. We're going to be going closer to 55%. And what does that look like, right?
We're losing our shit.
What about our trash hands? How are our weak hands playing? What do those look like? A lot of all of your queen X, you continue bluffing. All of our suited queen X, offsuit queen X that we show up here with, we're bluffing. The open-ended, I like to look at how we're playing our trash since we're going to get here with shit a lot, right? 7-5, you're betting. You're just betting all these trashy hands, just following through with pocket fours as well, trying to put pressure on that 10x, jack X, and queen X that maybe they don't check raise. All these combos betting.
He
right?
shouldn't have, at this point, if he calls, he should be check raising most of his kings on the flop at this depth, right? Or no?
I don't think he's check raising some of it.
No.
So he'd be check raising his better king X. He doesn't want to check raise a hand like king 7, king 8, stuff like that, because we still have the top of our range and he's stone dead, right?
You got nut
So he
advantage,
just
yeah.
we have nut advantage. So he's going to be calling with the middling portions of his king X, and then only check raising like the best portion.
Can you
and
look,
the
can you
best
look
of
at the
his-
check raise range on the?
Yes,
on the-
sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
So we
how
go
many-
here.
How many big blinds are we playing? Sorry.
I feel like I'm raising
Only
all my
20.
kings this
It was
short.
25, I think, to start.
Yeah, we're at
There we go.
25.
We bet
The,
1.9.
Am I wrong
So,
in
yeah.
saying that the
He's,
shallower?
yeah, he's actually
stack depth?
check raising all of his.
Yeah, he's not check raising the. This is whoever is asking about the range, here it is right here.
Lot of
He's
check
not
out.
check raising 2, 3, 4, 5. He's just calling these.
Yeah.
And then he goes
Yeah.
with king 9 plus. So he only check raises the top of his range. The best
Guys,
king. the rest
What
call.
do you think about? So I feel like as stacks get shallower, check raising is more value heavy, like less bluffy. You know, more like an actual hand. Two
You're
pair
still
better.
gonna mix. It's just gonna be more things with blockers, less suited connectors.
Who's defended 9-8? Who's raising 9-7? I mean, come, I'm out. 8-6 off. Ugh.
Where do you see that?
I mean, I'm just out. With
I mean,
this
the EV is. Oh, just to call it ace high?
I'm out.
Okay.
9-8 off, I'm out. 9-7 off, raise.
You have an open ended with 9-8 off, bro.
Gutters, the bottom end of your gutters, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right.
You're open ended.
Are you,
You're not-
are you
you're not
9-8
folding-
is,
you're not
9-7 is just the gutter, but 9-8
The
is
9-7 with the
yeah.
spade is just calling, right?
Yeah,
Why not?
spades, most of that is spades, probably 2 or spade blockers.
I mean, I'm never folding 9-7 with a spade. Why would you? It's too much, too good. They check the turn, you own them on the river.
are you opening
Check
90
ace
90
4,
off?
he's done. No, we're looking at the big blinds defend right here. This is the big blinds defending range.
Oh, excuse me.
Yep. This is what the big blinds response is. Somebody asked if they're check raising every king. No, sirree. You got to just check call this because, you know, he's going to have the top of his range in play. So I completely lost the chain of thought. So we're turning a lot of, so they check to us. So we're thinking about how we continue on these thoughts, right? We're looking at turn and how we're going to be barreling here. So you're going to be barreling. What
All
are
our
we?
queens. We're raising all our queens from the, are you back to the imposition?
Gutters or open enders.
Let's see, open-ended straight draws.
Queens are all open ended. Your aces got gutters. You still got
Checking
2 pairs
for
and straights and flushes.
a few of these are mixing. Some of your queens are mixing. Pocket queens, obviously, checking queen jack, good enough to bet. And it looks like it's going 55%. All of our bet sizing here is 55%, like 60% pot. A lot of these combos, 8-9 off. It looks like the EV for checking a lot is better in a lot of these situations, higher, I should say.
So
Now with
what
a
about
spade heart, it looks like you're going to be betting. Actually, yeah, you're just betting 8-9 again as a bluff.
That's the hand I miss as an open as well.
But you need a spade. I want you to have a spade with that 8-9.
That's not even in my range. I guess I gotta get a little bit wider.
what about
okay.
flush draws? What types of flush draws are you betting here? And which ones are you checking
So
to
the
realize?
button. So flush draw with
Hey.
nuts.
Come here.
Here we go. So a lot of our 10 high flush draws, all these weaker flush draws looks like they're just checking. Queen nine, obviously it's the straight and a flush draw, like it's so good. But it wants to bet, get money in. Ace queen, looks like it's so damn good you can do whatever you want, but it does
Okay.
prefer to bet slightly. Look at our entire range, our ace high flush draws. A few of these are just checking ace eight, ace nine, ace jack in this spot, you know. So we've looked at a lot of these with the king. Go ahead.
It looks like the absolute best flush draws with other draws are mixing, and the worst flush draws are just checking mostly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, look at this, guys. So your ace highs you get here with, follow through. This is important to see. I know a lot of us get shook, and this is what we're here for today. Follow
raising?
through. No, this is us barreling in position right now. So we need to be following through at a pretty high frequency with our offsuit ace X. It just prefers you to just double barrel. Okay. Double barreling some of your king X, you're not just going to be checking back king eight on the turn because you have showdown and you're scared. You're going to be betting it again in a lot of the spots. So how about we change the turn card and we make it something that kind of is wet and
Okay. When you mentioned barreling with ace highs, do you want a spade in there, or it's not?
nope,
really
it was barreling every single ace high.
Every single side. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
In this node, yeah, so we've been called, they check to us. This is our frequency of betting. Now, when it's a dynamic card, like the spade and the straight gets there, we're checking a bit more, and we don't really use that big sizing. We can actually use small sizing here. We don't bet 55% as much as when it was a blank. When it was a blank, we were exclusively using the big size. Now, when it's a wet connected card, we're not going large that often, right? It makes sense. It just hits. We're not going to be able to get two streets from a lot worse. We're mostly going to be using this 3.5 size, so 33%. How are our trash hands? Are we still betting a bunch of trash? This is where I like to look. We're going to be in trash land a lot. How about these ace highs? Yep, betting 33% as a bluff. Also just giving up. Just giving up with a reasonable amount of these ace highs as well. If you have a spade, it does look like it prefers you to maybe mix in betting a little bit more with a spade in some of these situations, but it looks like it's pretty indifferent. Ace 10 is continuing to bet. How about if we go to, if you have a straight, you turn a straight, you're checking a ton. Oof. Even when the flush gets there, you're just not even going to bet the straight. You don't want to get check raised. Queens with the spade, all these with the spade bet. Actually, queen 10 with the spade likes to check. Okay. Let me change this up. How about if it's an ace?
Eights of spades, you're just gonna realize with the draw and everything.
Yeah, I mean, this
You
card.
can use it as a bluff later.
Are we gonna
block the
use-
nuts?
Also, when the ace gets there, we still don't have that. We're just never using the big size.
There's a function in here where you can see all the different runouts.
Yeah, I
without
gotta.
switching them.
Yeah, you can see all the different. Let me think. I did this breakdown reports. I think it's break. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
probably
this
what
is
to do
how
with the
all on this flop. This is on the this is our turn betting strategy.
There's a lot of red in there still. You're still betting a lot on
You're betting
most
a lot.
cards.
I mean, a queen, you're just. Damn.
Well,
It
these
looks
are all
like-
spades too, or no? I'm
No,
sorry.
this is it's
Spades,
always,
hearts, diamonds. Yeah.
yeah, this is all of our turn strategy here for this report. I forgot. Yeah, so we can use this.
Low cards, you're barreling. A queen, you're gonna barrel. Kings, aces. Yeah, it's just a lot of betting still overall. But
Yep, and you can see this is when we're going to be checking. overall.
I
It's
mean, it's
mixing a
mixed,
lot.
it's mixed pretty good, but yeah.
But most of the time on most runouts, it's gonna be using the 55% sizing. Only time that's really not gonna be applicable is when spades get
When the
there. It's gonna
board
be a less, when the board pairs, we don't have that. Also a lot of when the ace gets there, no mas, no more big
Yep,
betting really.
Yep.
Ace and then the spades, right? On this run out, particular run out. Oh, this is gonna be best. This is great to use. What's this breakdown look like? I don't like looking at this. I tried this yesterday. Yeah,
It's just different view. I don't like that view.
yeah. All right, let's play a few more hands. I'm sorry, that took a while. But where did my shit go? I gotta go back to
Go up top, go to the tab to the left of the tab you're on. Very
tab
top.
to-
Your very top Chrome tabs.
right here. Oh, Chrome tabs. Oh yeah, it moves it over. I forgot it.
Yeah,
Opens a
yeah, it
new
opens
window.
up a new tab.
All right, cool. Next hand. So, and we're gonna do a few more of these. We're not gonna try to spend so much time, but we got time. Fuck it. Who?
Personally, I don't mind spending time if it's valuable time.
This is good stuff for this. Who do we have here? Ryan, I see you typing in there. Would you like to play this one if you're still out there? It's Ryan's elbow, right?
Yep, I'll give it a shot.
Ryan is jelly.
Jelly. Yeah, that's right. All right, my friend. You see betting or not here?
Yeah, we got the backdoor flush. We got a gut shot. We got ace high. I think we should have a little bit more range advantage than the big blind here. I'm just gonna throw out a small bet. Probably, I'd probably put out 1.5, but I'll go with 1.15.
So you're gonna go 20%. We are 30 big blinds effective. Anybody using a different size here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3.5.
I think I am
One-
going 3.15 as well. Tend to size up. Do we have small bets on this crazy ass board?
Yeah, I think we
can
have such a
probably
range.
mix
I think we go
33
1.9.
and 55.
Yeah, same.
Can we
here. I
have
don't know if
small
we ever
bets
go-
on wet high boards though? Like that's what I don't
That's what I
think we
said.
really have a lot.
Yeah,
of
we
small
do, but not
bets.
this particular hand. You got other hands in your range that are gonna want to do that. This hand is probably gonna fall in small.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only using this size, always 33%. But this is
Smaller, I
good as
mean,
well.
1.9 is fine too.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah, the 20% is too small.
yeah, I think when
Smaller
you use
bets is
this
all
size, in real life, I think people are just gonna overplay some of their straight draws, and you may just. I like to keep the range wide by using this size, so I know I can barrel and put them in hell. And keep
You got
their
ace
range
king and they
intact.
don't, so. that's
Yeah, but I
pretty
mean,
much-
you could even
Okay.
just measure size.
Can we look at the study for this? Just click study.
So like
Very
I
top.
think our like 2s and 3s and 4s are probably gonna go.
I want to get there.
bigger.
I want to let Ryan play his hand.
Oh,
Everybody's.
sorry.
I just
Okay,
want to see
yeah.
what range does on the flop. That's all.
There's
Go to
mine.
strategy EV and change it to strategy.
You're telling me how to use this? I'm a body slam you when I see you. I'm gonna hip toss you again.
I'm too
Okay.
big.
It's awesome.
You can get my big ass in the air. More props to you.
All right. They
So a lot of big
Our
bets though,
strategy.
right? Oh no, wait.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of big bets. A lot of big bets. Just not
Yeah.
this hand.
Oh yeah.
And even this
You
hand
can do
makes
whatever
sense.
you want. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. That's a lot of red, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's all I
what
wanted
are we
to see.
looking at?
Just never checking, just don't.
This
check.
is the
Never
button turn
check.
the button flop strategy. And we're betting 1.9, 33% a ton, and we're betting big a ton. Things like aces want to bet big for map vast value and protection.
So
Kings.
this is interesting, right? Like,
Sets of
let's
jacks.
see what happens on blanks when you just have air, right? And they call.
Mhm.
And then, we can just go back to the thing.
Go back to the practice. Yeah, just click practice.
Yes. I can go
At the very
here.
top.
Wait a minute. Yeah, no, I know. We can also,
Right there. Yeah. Oh, he just folded. There's no turn.
yeah, but we can manufacture
A turn.
a turn. I just wanted to see the reports of how we're going to be betting turn. Reports. Oh, we have to actually put the turn in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, you have to put a turn card in.
So change BB fold to call. There you go. Put a random turn.
That's BB check, they check, and then this is gonna be our strategy.
of
You
mixing.
are never checking a king.
Look, you have aces. You have
Ever
infinite
checking.
aces. Yeah.
The 9 ain't so hot. The 9 is checking about half the time in a lot of these. Yeah, we're just betting, and it's using a small bet as well a lot. Like it's going 20% on turn.
Setting up just a nice jam, I guess, on the river.
We're 30 big
mean, you're-
blinds deep. We're not setting up a jam with that bet.
And you're gonna chop a lot. He's got a lot of aces, but you have more aces, but still you're just chopping anyways. It's a 4-liner. Like you're not gonna get much value out of it anyways.
And the same thing applies with some of these ace high boards. Some of them are checking a reasonable amount, but we are just using the small bet size. For the rest of these boards, outside of the ace and the king X, where you use, we are going to be using these two sizes for the rest of these middling.
Small and big, yeah.
Yep.
Or big and bigger.
Yep.
Yeah, just big and bigger, yeah.
52% of the time. So about, yeah, we're just going to be using
Alley-oop.
alley-ooping it a lot. All right. Go back, next hand. And we're just getting these connected boards. You're getting led into. Go ahead, Matt, get wrecked. Go ahead.
Oh, God.
You have spade, heart. You know what this is. Stop tanking, Matt. I don't want the old
Probably
school tank,
just
bro.
call.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
wanna raise it
He's
though,
gone.
so bad.
You can't ever fold.
The worst hand they can have
No,
is
I
like
ain't
nine
folding. I'm
seven.
just contemplating raising, but
I thought as we block a lot of his bluffs with our exact hand, I'm not folding, but it's just that I'm already thinking he's value heavy on his donk.
Sure.
I think
Yeah,
two
you're right.
overs.
You block
Two
9-7
overs a
specifically.
gutter.
Backdoor flush.
Yep, we get to continue so much. I mean, I wonder if it ever does find a raise here. It does, dude. There it
A
is.
little tiny little bit.
Just
10%.
freaking going with it.
Yeah,
Blocking the suits, I think, too, is why.
probably.
You're done.
Call. That's small enough. I think we can call MDF.
No.
There you go. Controversy.
Anybody else calling?
I'm
Anybody else in this room calling?
Nope.
Absolutely not.
I'm with Matt.
I mean,
Beats
if
his-
it's
beats
any
with him.
bigger, if it was half
Beats
pot
and
or
leave him
more, I'd
hanging.
probably fold, but
Wait a minute. So there's 2 calls and the rest are fold.
can't.
You guys are wrecked.
Can't
We got
fold.
2
God damn.
geniuses, extraterrestrials.
So do you think that this is applicable in game versus here in Solver
Yes.
land?
I think what happens is whatever
I'm
range you
sticky as
decided
fuck.
to lead and bluff with.
Not that I'm not
He
sticky
has
as
to
fuck. I just
follow
don't
away.
think that these guys double very much as a bluff.
I do. He's
Real
gonna use this-
life,
in real
I
life,
would
he's
probably put
bluffing.
it closer to 50-50.
Yeah,
You're making a
that's
half a
insane.
big
I
blind
don't
out of it.
understand.
You're making a half a big
Well-
blind out of 15.
What,
Yeah,
what
but I
hands do we beat? And like,
It's not about what here. The way I interpret this situation is like they're gonna dunk portions of their range that aren't just made hands, right? He's gonna dunk a 5, a 7.
So Solver
Um,
is. Do you think the
like
public
this-
is? I don't think the public is as well studied and
No.
don't
So
doesn't
like
lead correctly.
H5,
But
H5,
but-
King 5 beat us.
one thing that also happens here, we have equity that makes us the best hand every time we get there. And if
Sure.
he ever checks, I'm turning my hand into a bluff because my range
Sure.
is uncapped and we only overcall all the overpairs as well. So I really like the guy's call here because I think there's portions, especially of the solver's range, to just contain a 5 or a 7 that is just going to continue bluffing on the cards is good for their range. And we get to turn our hand into a bluff and we have too much equity when we actually get there with any of our pair or anything. And if they ever check, we just bluff on cards that are good for
Yeah.
us.
I have a confession to make. You know, I feel like at shallow stack depths, I'm way less inclined to pull these kind of bluffs on the river turn sort of thing, which is probably a big mistake of mine.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I think
It's actually a little bit
uh,
more believable
Yeah.
when you're shorter, right? Because I mean, you're gonna
Yeah.
have less bluffs naturally, but still, when you do it,
Hey, the
it goes good
kids.
through. Oh, you
Hey,
got
Matt and Julie.
lucky.
Hey, the kids.
Don't
for
be
money.
results oriented.
The poker gods reward courage as well.
Get
All right, I'm gonna jam it for
Ship it.
you.
Yeah,
Ship
just
it.
jam it.
Wait till
Just
Tony rolls
jam it.
over 6-4 suit and here it comes.
There you go.
But
Pocket
Six,
eights.
four.
You know, he's got a
Pocket
boat, he's got a
eights.
boat. You're gonna run into a boat too. A stack of 4. Good job.
damn,
He didn't
had
stack a 4. He folded.
He had a
Real
lot of
life.
equity.
Real
That's
life.
crazy.
Folded.
That's a great.
No
That's a
one's
great
folding
fold.
that.
Folded. He didn't
That's a
stack a
great fold.
4.
He
Slick
ain't
Willie.
fucking folding a 4.
But
Ain't
yeah,
nobody
it's-
in our
it's a
states
five.
folding a fucking 4.
I mean, dude, it's a
Real life, they
line.
jam river in the, so it's just a call and everyone, all the chips are gone.
You guys want to? That was kind of interesting. I think it's too interesting not to look back.
I
at.
check raise and get it in.
Yeah,
and
because
fuck out on him.
yeah, if
When
he's
it's all
folding,
in on the turn.
right? Because when he folds, he puts us on that exact hand.
So, how often
Oh, we just don't have any bluffs on the river.
should
No.
big blind be leading on a flop like
True.
this? You may ask, and it's 6%, and it's all over the motherfucking place. The highest frequency is whatever good hands this is, and it's your 8s. You're mixing some 7s in there with spades. You're just mixing, just like, ugh.
Pairs and redraws, pairs with overs,
Yeah, it's
This is
only
the button he's
6.
calling
draws
range.
with overs.
That's the button's called. Oh, why did it go back there?
Oh, the big blind's calling range, rather.
No, why did it go back there? The BB.
Oh, you
No,
were
I
on the
was
right
right.
spot.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sorry. I saw where it said BB fold at the very end. My bad. My bad.
No, this is it.
My bad.
7-8. It's easier to see with the green in there. It's really hard to see without it. 6-4. So you know, this isn't I don't think you're gonna see this in public a whole lot.
Yeah, I think the
but in real
frequency of this
life-
donking is so uncommon that it's almost something we can kind of eliminate from our strategy.
I actually think it's pretty common. I just don't think people are using the right hands. And generally, especially at
Right.
the low stakes, it's going to be some weak top pair or some weak draw that they're trying to buy it cheap. And knock
This
it on.
exact hand, I
Drag it
could
down.
see them leading more because they have the flush draw and a pair. But
And an
Sure.
over.
I mean, other than that, you know, it's.
I think
gonna
in
be
real
tough.
life, this is that exact hand is a hand they find leads with more often than not. Sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here's this flop for your in position strategy once they actually check to you, which I think is going to happen a ton. How are we proceeding, right? Like the best of it here, we can use big bet sizes.
Yeah, it's a
55.
good board for the big blind.
Yep. So that little whoops, that's not this. Some of our 10s and 9s can overbet, 10s, 9s, jacks, ace 8. You can incorporate that overbet here. 5.7 in the pot. It doesn't hate going 7. But this bet 83% is much more common, and then 9s plus. Go big or go home. It also mixes with some of our combo draws as well, and even not having a combo draw. So 8, king 5, ace 5, jack 5, queen 5, stuff like this. It uses that bet size at some frequency.
Yeah, two backdoor straights. backdoor flush,
47%,
over to the 8.
30%. So yeah, it doesn't hate using these hands with shitloads of equity with the flush draw, straight draw pairs, stuff like that to push equity.
Stacking off.
How about
Right. Do you bet
This
big with
size-
those? Or not really? With the flush draw a slash.
yeah,
gut
sure.
shot, straight draw.
Yeah, you bet big when you have the mouthful. So over to the 8, gut shots, and flush draw.
How many
Okay.
large bet folds do we have when they just check jam on us?
I mean, I
Bet
can't imagine.
Bet 475 and see what happens.
I mean, any of this stuff here. So yeah, we'll do it. Bet.
I feel like we're gonna go with
I
just.
guess
But let's see
What-
what we get. Raise
Oh,
by
they
it's
raise.
When they jam
all
on
in
you.
us. They
Only good
go
shit.
all
He's only
in.
jamming his 8s, yeah.
And then this is our calling strategy. We're calling half the fucking time.
All flush draws.
Every 8, 7, 8, 4-5 is never folding pair in I mean, yeah, 4-5s.
Right,
That's only
And a flush draw.
spade.
Those are all flush draws.
Right.
All of our flush
I don't know
draws.
who
All of
here
our
does
top pair.
Yeah, that's easy.
so
All of our eights.
who does the math when they get shoved down, or do they already know, like, by kind of math intuition on how many stack depth, how how many they have?
I think this
behind?
one's pretty intuitive, right? It's all over pair,
Yeah.
flush draw, and top pair, and that's it.
I'm
That's
curious what we're
everything in here
folding.
is-
What are
is
we
that,
betting
right?
large that wants to fold, I guess is a better way for me to look at this, cuz
Right.
are we betting hearts or something and then folding? Hearts with redraws?
Yeah, you're not gonna call a hearts backdoors only.
Yeah, but I didn't know if we were betting them. large or
7x
not.
probably.
Yeah, our gut
Yeah.
shots are king 5, queen 5, jack
Yeah, that's a good
5.
question.
Okay, so all the backdoor hearts that with the redraws are probably the ones we're mucking.
So
I mean, you consider our entire range here. We're not betting a damn thing that's good and folding. I mean, all these marginal big stabs with equity, your A7, which is a sad ass one, even with the spade is folding, right? A7 with the spade. You hate to see it. Ace5 with the spade. It even might it even decides to grief it sometimes, like, right?
yeah, some low equity draws kind of stuff.
Like this. Fives. Fives with a spade.
No, ace
Folding
5 of
mostly.
spades is a different story.
Never folding.
Never fold. So I don't know if I'm really wording this correctly, but at what stack depth do you start to fold flush draws, like all flush draws, not flush draws?
It's impossible. Like, it's so hard of a question to answer. Like, it just depends on bet size, the situation. It depends on a lot of different things. Like,
Probably deeper, like 20 bigs, you're just getting almost every flush draw in you got, because it's just okay.
Right, that's probably
30
better
and
to answer.
40 starts to get kind of, yeah. You can
Right.
start
Chris.
folding some of your lower flush draws at 30 and 40 bigs probably, but
what up, Chris? You want to
anything
get this
under
in?
like 20 is probably just going with it.
What up?
You want to play this hand,
Okay.
buddy?
That
Sure.
makes more sense.
Sorry, I'm late. Doctor's appointment.
Oh, it happens, man. You're a crusher. You have a
Yep.
life.
That was last week. I had 4 scores of 4 digits.
Brag post. You're allowed to have it. Well done, sir. How do you want to play this hand?
Okay, let's look. We're at 20 bigs. We open button. Big blind calls.
Yeah.
These
are the actual hands that are like kind of tough, right?
Yeah, 10 high. Geez, I'm cool with any of them, but I'll check a 10 high board. The smash is a big blind range.
Yeah, I agree with him.
I think
That's a
I might go pot here, actually.
Yeah, I'm cool betting too. But I remember doing a little research on 10 high boards, so
Anybody else checking?
I think we can go big on this,
Well,
but I don't think we're over.
I feel like I'm mostly checking, but you also block the flop straight with the 9. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. You also have a jack of spades. I don't know. I'm probably mostly checking. I mean, you did open, but I'm mostly checking here.
I guess I'll
think
go 83%. Pot's probably too big.
you
Yeah,
have
I
an
don't think I
overpair.
check much. So you were checking here, Chris, right, correct?
yeah, I think I
yeah.
would mostly
I
check.
feel like I'm betting 1.8 for me, but I don't know.
60.
I feel like I always just bet 1.8 here, but checking is
Very
fine.
small is good.
Dude, this shit is, you don't want to go too big here. You don't need to, right?
Why is the check EV higher when it's
Yeah.
the less?
Just,
Let's see.
no, there's a lot of spots like that where the EV is indifferent, but 1,000s of a big blind different. I might just realize a little bit more equity and continue slightly more to win the pot rather than them getting them to fold. Like, it's just minute, right? This much EV isn't.
Yeah, totally cool with betting. Like I said, any of the options seem reasonable. so.
Yeah, I would probably bet.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, right? Where you're only checking 20% on the button in this.
No,
scenario.
that was a different stack step, my friend. That was 30
Okay.
big blinds. We're at 20 big blinds here.
That's interesting.
Oh,
Which way?
same spot. I mean, you pick up
Wanna-
equity.
Yeah.
He's
wanna check
checked
again?
twice. Yeah, again, I'm cool either checking or betting here, either one. The EVs should be about the same.
What size would you want to bet if you were going to bet if you think the EVs are going to be the same?
Turn bet 55.
I
Okay.
think I'm checking now to realize.
I think
Jack high.
I check to realize equity as well.
Oh, boy.
But I think it's gonna mix check.
I would never check.
1-8
man.
and
You
3.
have
Yep.
Jack high. You're gonna pay this man's gonna beat you with like king 8 off. All right. But we do it this much. The EV is pretty close between this and this. We do pick up equity. Right.
He stole it from me.
Just can't, yeah, you just wrecked.
You block
King
all the
8.
bluffs. This is simple fold, I think.
All right.
Yep.
Play it the aggressive way.
It did have some raises in there though, too. That was funny.
Chris, you want to bet now, right? We're gonna look at this one because these boards are pretty hard to play versus big at this stack depth. So we go
What's-
with the bet option. Win. All right, now
Oh, it changed his hand, huh?
it always changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it changes
Yeah.
the
Oh,
hand.
all right.
BB, go back here. They have no leads. You will see people lead in real life though. We are only checking 30% of the time. These are the hands that we're checking a ton of our 7x here. So that's something that we can see here, checking a lot of the 7x. How about our 6x in this spot? Looks like it's checking a reasonable amount. We have a lot of ace highs mixing check as well, especially some of the ace highs with 2 overs that would hate to get check raised. Some of our king high checking. What aren't we checking?
Looks like it's betting top pairs
Everything
and
with
draws.
equities and blockers to it. We don't really go too large. We have a tiny bet here. Sets going small, 6-7, inducing 2 pairs, 2 pair going small as well. Looks like very high frequency. Some of our ace highs just trying to get a cheeky little steal through to make them fold the ass end of their range.
You just got so much in the big blind that's just complete air that you're
Queen
trying
high
to fold
stabbing.
out. You can bet your entire range and just get them to
I
fold a lot.
thought we would bet large because we had a jack and like jacks, like the pairs of jacks bet big. So I thought since we had a jack, we would bet large. That's kind of why I wanted to go
Pair
big.
matching or card matching, yeah.
Yeah, like queen jack here. It doesn't do that
Yeah, I guess
much, but you know,
I guess jack nine's just not good enough.
how about queen jack off? Because that's a concept I go with as well. So queen jack off here, I would probably use a big sizing. It does mix that 30%, 20%. It's not that great. Queen, would you need a spade? You need the queen of spades or a jack of spades, and you can use the
Right.
bigger size more there, Cap. So you are correct. We just need to make sure we're using a spade or something else.
And we did have a
more-
spade,
it's a
right? We had
blocker.
the jack of spades.
Yeah,
didn't
we had both suits actually. We had the jack and the heart, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it was jack 9 though. That was jack 9.
Yeah,
And it does mix it in there, 30% of the time as well. So that's why our score is reasonable. So, yeah, we need to put in a random turn and then kind of look across the board and see what these are the boards that are hard to figure out barreling strategies, right?
You could, there you go.
Yep. So that's their check. And then this is going to be our barreling
Yeah,
strategy.
you
So the
just barrel a
middling,
frickin' lot.
so when it's a spade, we never use the big sizing, right? This is a common thing we're going to learn for today. A big takeaway from today on
Flush gets there.
2-tone boards, when the flush gets there, bye-bye big bets. The big bets are done.
Yep.
No more big betting when the flush and shit gets there. We only use 33% exclusively or check, it looks like. The
But
deuce
look at all those overcards. Any overcards 10 plus.
You just
freaking bomb.
hammer it.
Yeah.
You're looking
If
for
you-
bluffs on these boards, hammer it when paint gets there,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay. You're gonna put all the pressure on their missed draw 7x, 6x with unders that missed. We're just gonna put those hands in hell. And he's
And
gonna
the
have a lot of
deuce.
that. And the dude,
Complete bricks.
So
Complete
where are we
break.
at? So these cards are
These cards
imaginary
are really
turns,
bad.
right? Turns,
Correct.
right? Okay.
And
Oh, yeah,
these are
the game-
imaginary turns, and this is going to be our overall strategy on those turns while we're in position after c-betting, right? We've c-bet, they've called turn XYZ, they check to us. king of diamonds on turn, bet. Never check.
So
7%.
essentially, the 8, the 9, and the spades complete all the draws. The straights get there and the flushes get there.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, and you're checking more than half the time on these boards, more than half the time, 52, and then another takeaway, even when these cards get there, right? When the straight gets there or the flush gets there, no more big sizes, none.
Right, which
We
are larger
only go-
cards that,
Yeah, when
Yep.
you have the nuts, you're not trying to blow them off the hand and you can
Yep.
still get chips in.
All the cards surrounding, right? All the cards surrounding, instead of the 6 and the 7, the board pairing, it doesn't look like we still do use some bigger bets there. We still have some 5 when the board pairs 6 or 7, right? 6 or 7. We still go 30% of the time. We can still use big bets, but even our over pairs and shit are not going big.
Yeah, so when a
When it's
draw
straight
complete,
or
we
flush
get the
get there.
bluff, we get the bluff small because we're gonna bet small for value, so we still get to have bluffs with the small bet, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the small bet's also going to allow you to get value from worse hands that give a better price and to just get the showdown, right? We get our 2 streets and we get the hell out of there because it's going to be really hard to get 3 streets on a lot of those boards with a lot of our range.
okay.
Ace high. Ooh. Ace king, play it.
Okay, we're definitely gonna bet here. Let's bet 1.9.
Hey, 33%. Anybody disagree with the man's? It is ace 3-4. Anybody ever gonna mix a big size in? Go smaller? Any thoughts? Pilot, 33%. Uh-oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say on the ace high, I think we can actually go. I mean, yeah, pilot 33, but I think we can get away with going 55 as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
gonna
can go
mix-
bigger.
It's gonna mix hard, I think,
But-
because he lacks aces.
Yeah.
I think 1.33% is probably good, but I think it's gonna mix pretty hard.
You
I
can
don't think-
mix.
The
I don't
range,
think you
range
can bet on
wise.
the wheel.
I don't think we're
draws,
ever going
wheel
large
board.
here. I think
No.
he's gonna have a suited ace 3 and ace 4 in his
Not on
range
the
a lot.
wheels,
And
yeah.
I think we're only gonna use this size. I don't think we're ever really gonna use this with this hand often. If we look at his range, he does have suited aces that he doesn't 3-bet. But yeah, it does use this a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well played, boys.
Yeah.
The EV is much higher for this bet size as well. I mean, not much higher, excuse me. There's
Just stacking
2,000 of a big
eights, huh?
blind. And it's the more commonly used here as well. So
And what's
kudos,
nice is,
Benjamin.
like, they gotta defend like king high here, and I think population probably just overfolds.
Yeah.
Population's folding to king high to this.
Yeah.
Like, they're just over it, right?
I mean, in game, yeah, I'm probably betting more towards half pot, or maybe a little bigger, yeah, in game.
All right, now what?
Well, we picked up some equity. I really don't know what they called, but let's 21 bigs, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Call there.
There's no money on the line, my friend. Go ahead.
You know what? I'm gonna pull a trigger. Pull a trigger here. I'm either going all in or betting 7.9.
Oh, man.
Damn, Jason.
Rip it. Just rip it. Fuck him.
I don't
I
know. I don't know what to do here, but I'd
You know,
probably go.
maybe
like
not, but you know what?
5.2.
Especially
Big.
since we just said
Guessing.
that I'm not bluffing enough at small stacks, so let's do it here. But actually, let's get seriously. I'll probably bet 5.2 or maybe all in.
Okay.
I'm not checking.
That's
I'm
my
not
man's
checking.
answers.
I'm not
I was-
checking.
I was gonna say, I think the king connects too well. The king of hearts connects too well to the board to overbet, but I'm definitely
Yeah.
going big, like the 7.9.
Yeah, I think I would.
7.9 it is.
7.9 for me as well. I don't.
Yeah.
All in is just so boss.
If it didn't connect as well, then yeah, I could definitely
mean,
can see
I
the
feel it-
overbet. But
In my heart, I want to go all in.
But you said 5.2, didn't you?
We
Correct?
block a lot of draws.
Yeah,
We might
yeah,
get
so-
away with a small bet. That never.
Yeah,
So
7 was
double-
right.
Hell
Yeah.
no. You ain't
Double
getting away
flush
with
No
draw
it.
small
board is
bet.
a huge bet.
Don't you ever go small on this turn, sir.
Yes,
Don't even try to, not
Well,
even as an exploit.
I was
think-
5.2. I was just still thinking that maybe a small bet would work. since
Ooh,
we
you're
had
gonna
a
go
heart
small
and a
in game and
spade.
just get wrecked
I'm
by
just-
5-6 off.
I have mixed up. I'm just so scared at small at small stack depth. Why am I scared at small stack depth?
Well, at
Because
this
you're
point, I'm trying to get
inexperienced.
queen high to fold. He has no pocket
I don't wanna
pairs and
lose?
he didn't jam. So we're targeting a very small.
No, no. Cap.
you're
No,
Nope.
easy. Let's
Backwards.
take a moment here. He has a lot of hands that you need to fold out. We're gonna be it. It's also gonna be balanced because we need to go that big with the top of our range there. We need to maximize fold equity from any flush draw, straight draw that didn't check raise on an ace high board, and get all these 3x and 4x to fold. You have to go big.
Okay.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Okay, and
at the smallest, this should be your small bet. 55,
Yeah.
60% your small bet only on these turns.
Oh.
Ever.
I don't think you have a lot of fold equity at this stack depth. Like me
Sure
going
you
all
do.
in.
No,
think
no,
so?
you don't need to. I think
need
it's overdoing it. I think you
Yeah.
get the same information by using this. I think the same range is going to be. I mean, look at the EV difference. You're just dead when he actually gets it in. But I think
Yeah.
it just prints like
When you shove, you're just forcing him to have it. He's only gonna call you with better, so.
So you're
Sorry,
giving up
guys,
on the
is-
river? So
Go
what's,
ahead.
what's
So-
going on the
wait.
river? So go ahead. Your question.
somebody
Is the
had a question.
I think I screw these spots up. Are we essentially, in the past, I've gone like small in that spot to jam the river. Are we just
Yeah.
trying to go bigger there and just we're giving up if we brick, just assuming
It-
he's gonna
Well, I
beat-
think, hold on, before you just ask another question, let me answer his question first. I think you are setting up a more reasonable SPR to get it in here.
think
This
so?
SPR is going to be better SPR than you setting up. You don't need to set up an SPR of exactly one, right? I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is setting up exactly one. And I think you give a lot of hands too much, give them too good of a price to continue, right? In a lot of situations when you go small on turn, when your range is going to want to fold out and you want to get an SPR to jam river, I think setting
Yeah,
up a
sometimes
point
it's
eight better.
sometimes it's a 2-street hand. You get max value on the turn and you get max fold equity as well on the turn, right?
Yeah. I think this is pretty common. So B money, I will get into the solver, or we'll look at our bet sizing in a few of these ace high different kind of boards, because I think a lot of people use the small turn sizing as a bluff when you're going to want to be polar in that situation a lot.
I think this
So-
is this is a great hand because I think I'm messing up on these spots a lot, especially at this stack depth.
All right. Well, you got called twice. Are you following through or are you giving up?
Honestly, you know what? I guess how much my tournament life matters to me. I don't know. I don't wanna get
Time
emo-
bank.
Yeah, time.
Time bank.
Clock.
I don't want to.
Wow.
I don't want to make emotionally based decisions. So so look, he just called. So we opened. He called pretty small flop bet. He called a fairly big turn bet with the king out there. Well, I think he has pretty medium ace here maybe. Or I'm probably mostly checking here, man.
So
He giving up.
I think having a heart and a spade is particularly bad, and I'm with him. I'm out.
Yep. This
Yeah,
is
Bad.
a-
What do you
this
mean
is a give up.
bad? You think it's bad?
Yeah,
having a
well,
heart and a spade?
I was gonna say, I think with pretty much all of our queens and jacks, because he's calling us down with a lot of low flush draws, low straight draws,
Right.
both to the spades and the kings. I think with our jacks and queens, we can just check it back.
Block his
Yeah, I
folding
gotta look
range
at his range. Right, I
everywhere.
gotta look. Right, I have to look at
If
his
I
range.
had
I guess.
like diamonds here, I'd probably blast it or clubs, but I'm not, I'm done with this.
I feel like I'm
'Cause
blasting.
you
What's
block-
wrong with me?
You
Feels
block his
like
flush.
such a, but the three pairing, found some chop. Ah, man, if it's too
We
bad.
shouldn't have threes after our turn bet, I don't think. unless you
You're
have-
No. I just feel like
Unless it's like 3-5 or
All right,
4-3
he's
or-
checking. I feel
You were-
like
Yeah, checking, check.
only,
Yes.
only checking. Everybody
trying
who's
to
Yeah,
take
in
it
the
down
there's
turn.
last.
still a
Yes.
lot that we're actually ahead of that he calls down.
All right, before we
Yeah,
get into.
But I feel like,
all of
yeah,
it,
Yeah,
I
but you're
think. Oh,
go ahead. Sixes, sorry.
Oh, no, it's no problem. Yeah, it's important. I think the important takeaway here is he doesn't check raise all of his ace X on this board, and when he does, call twice, right? Showdown of 4. Oh, it
What do we
hurts.
do if we don't have a
Yeah.
heart and a spade? Do we ever bluff? Cause I have.
Guys, let's look at this. That hurt. The pain, dude. I would be sick to my stomach.
yeah. Hey,
Um,
some players still call there. Some players are,
Let's go back to the turn.
but most people fold. Yeah, to a jam.
That's why we got 7 on the turn.
So what the hell
I
was he
mean,
calling?
yeah,
What
a
what
board
the hell is
should
he?
fold that, but
He's
yeah.
calling. So he's calling eight big blinds with middle pair
Alright.
there. I mean,
I do it all the time versus the button. You gotta call 2 barrels with a pair. You just, I mean, they're
Yeah.
gonna barrel you, man.
yeah,
gotta be
especially the button,
sticky.
right? Button cutoff.
So, specifically B money for that question before, this is going to be our turn strategy. And as you can see here, there is just literally 0 point, there's under 1% small bets getting to this turn. And it really wants you to push equity and
Yeah. This
use
is a great
bigger size and
takeaway
stuff like this.
from this hand.
So yeah, like I don't think it's just contingent, as you can see, upon the turn. This is giving every single turn, right? And it has 0 small bets on this kind of configuration, a 2-tone on this. So there's none. Big only, right?
So basically, on every turn, you're betting big, basically, or mostly
Yes.
every turn.
I mean, no, not every turn. Well, it does. It's
When you
it's
bet, you
only
bet big.
sizing. Yeah,
Well-
it's yeah. I mean, you're only checking. Wow, it's actually just never checking, bro.
No, it's not checking.
Yeah, you guys have issues barreling. This wants you to never check, almost across the board.
You have just
mean,
as
if like
many
you think about it,
flushes,
this
you
is
have
what you
ace
face.
king, you have sets, you have nut advantage, so yeah, you just keep barreling.
And big.
But
Yeah,
when you get
and
to
if-
that river, you just block his whole complete folding range with the spades and the hearts and the
Yeah.
jack 10, like Beats was saying, you just block
Right.
his complete folding range. And like an ace is never folding to a paired board with a king kicker. Ace is gonna chop with everything, so you're not folding
So-
an ace. Even a king
Well-
might get sticky as fuck with a paired board and an ace kicker. You ain't gonna fold a king. So
You
like,
do find some checks on
Yeah,
like,
that's-
like these cards you're checking.
But we have these so
But this is-
fractionally, it looks like if you weighted it like that, you wouldn't even see the colors, right?
Yes, I
We
mean,
just barely have any of this. It looks like a lot of checks, but we don't really have these. We don't have it, right?
So are you guys still betting on the flush draw when the flush draw completes here? I mean, I know you're not betting 2 or 5 when deuce or 5 hits the turn,
it
but
shows it right here.
yeah,
This is the button strategy. Yep.
It usually says usually gives you a combo count, which I don't see here where like under where you have this 5 squares. There's usually a combo count in there.
That's the table.
I guess it is betting. I guess 'cause you have the spade too as well.
Right, that's the chart. God, I was playing with this. There's so much in this damn thing. That's the default turn, suits, cards.
Maybe you only have the combo count when you're in the other mode with the range.
You can actually see the cards. You can see the suits, spades. Check a lot on spades more so than the other suits when spades actually get there, and you don't
Right.
use as big of a size. Everything else you have a lot more bigger sizing. When the spade gets there, you go
Okay.
33% a lot more. When the flush draw gets there, that's another good takeaway today as well. And you can see all the turns, reports. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It'll be in
Oh.
there when we go back and see the entire range, I think. You can do what you're doing.
I mean, yeah, I mean, either way, if he did have the let's say the
Look
flush
at
to complete,
this.
yeah, he would raise the turn all in to get the stacks in. So you're just trying to get really a fold there on the turn.
Yep.
With this hands.
Well, I think that's another important concept that helps us today. We'll do a few more. I've been
Can we see
going
the range
for
first?
about
I wanna
2 hours.
see, I was just curious if we bluff if we don't have spades and hearts there.
What do you want
Or
to
if
say?
I'm spewing.
Right.
Dude, I mean, it showed you should never check.
No, the
Go to
river.
the river
Right, right.
button, the river button. No. Yeah, the river button there.
Go to strategy.
Oh, I see. Oh, fuck. Piss.
So they check.
Far left. There you go.
Yeah. I'm getting a little torched. Button.
Jamming your aces for value. You got some like 10x,
And all your
9x. Those are all your flushes. So like,
all your
yeah, you
missed
don't have bluff
flushes.
there.
You're
But then,
actually
yeah,
just.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
you have
just
no
turned it
bluff
into
there.
shit.
Yep. All your queens and jacks, like I thought, you're
Boat.
just checking
7-5.
back.
Oh, so you are just bluffing your spades, yeah.
Hell yeah, you're
Spades
bluffing.
and yeah.
You're bluffing your mutt. You have 10 high. What are you gonna do? Show that you have to bluff, right? I don't feel so
So the
bad
jack
anymore.
10 off. Where is that? Jack 10 off isn't.
It's even bluffing with the spade. It's just going for it, dude. Cap was worried about like some of these 10 highs are just way too weak and it's unblocking. So weird.
This is a jack 10 though, and it looks like it's just checking pure.
Yeah. Yeah. All your jacks and queens are just checking.
Yeah, the eight, 9, and 10 highs are just get me out. It's like,
No hand, no
Yep.
showdown.
So,
yeah,
so
just follow
what-
through.
what is it
And
bluffing?
then on the turn, if we go 7.9,
Yeah, when you see how things
like
change.
he's not gonna call that 6-4 because it's just a it's a 4 with
I don't know, man. I think he's still calling.
He did call. He did call.
6-4 off's a pure call.
I mean, I can't imagine he's ever folding 6-4.
you're on the flop.
Oh, I went back to the flop.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
Maybe
go to the
back-
right.
Wait a minute.
So go to the
flop.
very
Check
last
back
one
call.
that's showing
King
on the
turn.
screen.
I did
Next-
right here.
Next one over.
You
now,
probably
like,
fold the
big
6 of
blind.
spades. You probably fold if you have a 6 of spades. And call the rest.
Oh, it's right here. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
That's too
So
funny,
he's
remember.
he's folding 6-4 off.
Oh, yeah, it's just folding to the slightly bigger bet.
6-4
Should have went
is-
bigger.
Oh.
We got
Yeah,
owned
just
of it.
because his 6 is horrible to hold right there because it just has no
And blocks the wheels. and
connection
everything,
and
yeah.
it blocks. And so he's just gonna fold all that trash. That at 5.2 he's still calling.
Alright.
I think this has to do with the low stack depths too, right? Like you want to bet kind of
Yeah.
bigger on the turn to get that fold because you can't jam on the river and get a fold, so you want to do that on the turn.
Yep, yep.
Kind of my opinion.
All right. Let's see. Coin flip. I see you out there in the chat. Would you like to play this hand, my friend? You can type it in if you don't have to unmute. If you don't want to, you can if you'd like. It's all good. Do this. Oh, he gone. All right.
Hello?
Oh, there you go. I can hear you. Yeah, man. There you go.
I'll bet small.
Quarter or it's only quarter.
quarter.
So quarter. It actually checks. Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
No,
Don't feel bad. I think I would have went quarter here as well, man.
I mean, it doesn't hate it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
EV
Yeah.
pretty close. And I think some people would make the mistake of just going large here, but look, when we go a quarter. Of
Yes,
course.
ace five.
How many people in here would just rip it over top of this?
Never.
No, you don't need protection, really.
Okay. So we're only calling. It never does it. I
Never.
want to throw that bait out there and see if anybody was going to fall for it. Well, I mean, I'm out. You're
Slow
going to
roll.
actually get
Slow roll.
slow roll.
Yeah, we got to call.
And it doesn't show. I'll give you an actual hand to play. Here you go, coin flip. How about this board? Cut off. 35 effective here. So this is one of the deeper ones we've seen today. And I don't think we've seen this exact spot from the cutoff at 35. You want to see bet small? Would you use a larger sizing here?
I'll go big. I think 3.25 or 4.9 bigs.
Ooh, the 4.9. Nah, I don't hate it. Anybody else going big here for that size here? 2 for Ryan, just gonna use the 33%. It's interesting. I mean, I like the 3-2-5. I never really find the 4.9. I wonder if it's a
Yeah,
thing.
probably
Yeah.
3-2-5.
Like I
Yeah, I'm
wouldn't mind pushing-
probably splitting between the 33 and the 55.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if this is the thing. I would love to be able to use this size.
I'm sure there's
There-
probably
if
a,
there's a point.
I'm sure there's probably a percentage of it that's in there.
I wonder what portion of our range would overwhelmingly use this size. That's another question I have for myself. But let's go ahead and go to 3.25. Like he said, I believe he said, yeah. And it is the best bet here. Good. It does use it 5%. It can do it. And the EV is actually very close
Yeah.
between it as
In
well.
game, I would go 75%, but it's not an option. So.
Yeah. I'm like more of a 70. Yeah, I go like 66, 75 here a lot as well. We just get the folds. All right. Oh, I should have went back and seen the turn. I want to see. That is fine. I don't want to spend too much time there. We got tons of spots. Let's see. Kep. I don't think I've called on you today. It's weird not having Kep in my
alright.
hand.
I actually zoned out, so, check.
Yep, we are 35 bigs again.
I'm betting big, of course.
3-2-5?
Yeah, I think 3-2-5 is enough. Our
Buzzer.
matching no good here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I thought this, I mean, I'm a little surprised it's not a thing at all, to be honest with you. I thought we'd be mixing between this and 33. But it really
Right.
likes this. I'm kind of surprised, like, it doesn't use this at all, to be honest, buddy.
I guess we just get the range bet this.
Yeah.
Nah, well, it's
Yeah.
a pretty connected flop. I guess it's just a range bet though, mostly, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
since
think it's 'cause
we,
connected.
let's look at this. Since I think I was, whoa, we get to bet small and frequently. Small and frequently.
Yeah.
Why is it looking like
We're
this
just betting
now?
range. Makes sense.
I want my old report back. What did I do? Uh-oh. There we go.
I imagine deeper it's gonna size up.
Yeah. Maybe not. We just get to bet so much. Does it have any big bets here?
Yeah, no, we're just range betting here. But maybe at 40, we split our range more, maybe.
All right. Like you said you were gonna do. You said you were gonna bet small. Like I remember you saying that. Let's make them. Let's at least make a mistake that's more common than the make. Not mistake, but more common is something we would do here, right?
Yeah, more normal bets.
Yeah, 33 or something here, right? Oh baby, we get there.
So I guess we've been seeing this heuristic where we just bet small.
I know. I'm so tempted to want to go like
Straight as a
55.
4-liner, basically. So,
But it's interesting because you're right, because all the other spots that we've looked at today, right? The heuristic was when there's a dynamic turn card, we no longer really use the big sizings. We certainly don't overbet or go 83% here often, right?
Well, we
So
are
I wonder
playing
if we go
35
55.
though. We looked
Yeah,
at-
all
we
the other
playing
spots were
20 earlier.
short. Yeah.
Yeah, I would start to
just-
size up here. You get value from 6, 7, and a queen.
Yeah, I was gonna say at 35, I'd probably go 83. We're not gonna overbet, but
God.
I'd still go the
I
bigger
guess I'll
size.
stick with my small since it was a range bet too, which I wouldn't think at this depth. I would have thought we had mixed sizes. Yeah,
So
I'll
you
do
still want to
that.
stay with this?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that, since that's what we've been saying.
And we go
just
big.
blast.
You know what it was, Cap?
Go big or go home.
The heuristic only applied for all the situations from like 15, like we mostly was at 20, right? And
Yeah,
25. I think every situation we've seen that was like at 20. So when we get deeper, we need to bet the nets.
yeah, we got.
Trying to set an SPR up here to jam, because you want to jam the
Yeah.
nuts too.
We can't set up an SPR to get the money in if we don't go big enough. Or this 8.15 is gonna put up an SPR of 1. So we agree with it.
You can't always bet the nuts, bet your large hands with your bluffs. You got to balance it. So you got to balance the nuts too.
Right.
And you have the spade
Right.
for the blocker.
Oh,
like,
this is
oh,
my
I
play.
blockered your ass.
I do this 100% of the time.
So in real life, I just wanna put him in the box and go to like 10
You're losing. You're leaving money.
to make him call with 2
Yeah.
pair.
There's only one bet size
Because in
here.
real games, when we jam here, it's always the nuts, right?
So what?
You have the nuts, yes.
Yes.
I know
No,
we're
there's-
jamming, but I like to screw with people and just, you know.
No,
scream and
what you
help.
just said out loud to a room full of people was like, I like to leave money on the table. I like
Right.
to step over some dollars to pick up a few pennies is what I just heard.
Yeah.
Jam this shit 100% of the time. And people are gonna call you, Cap, with the 7.
Yeah.
People are going to call with the 7, especially.
Queen
if it's-
obvious.
Solver
seven,
ain't
yeah,
calling with
it's
the
like-
7.
I fuck the solver. The solver's gonna call with a queen.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, if you just have a queen, you can
Doesn't
probably
matter.
go like
Briefed it.
the 13.5, but with the nuts, you just jam it.
Yeah, the
Dude,
spades
that's a
anyway.
nasty ass little lead, dude. Oh,
Real life, you're
goodness.
not seeing that lead.
You got a nut blocker.
No.
Never.
All right, let's I think it's interesting from a strategy standpoint. We get to the cutoff. We bet range, they call, we see the turn. They have some leads.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're leading turn. How do I broke this and how do I fix it? So I don't
Fix
know
what?
I did.
Oh, see the little bar graph thing in the bottom corner of it?
Oh, I broke this as well now. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
change this to range height.
And then
Oh,
Oh,
boy,
there it
maybe
is.
it's full height.
Yeah.
That's where it is. Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah,
God,
full height.
And
some
then
of these
change
little
the
guys-
other one back to full height. No, normalized. Try normalized. Now you're just
Go
clicking.
to vertical.
Now you're just clicking everywhere.
I
Go to vertical.
instead of horizontal.
There we go. Jesus Christ.
Press for moments, dude, doing this, leading this. Holy shit.
6 had me sweating.
The turn, this is their lead range, man. So if you're in the big blind in this spot, I mean, dude, there's actually a reasonable amount of what?
Just jam.
I mean, it's a really
BB.
really small part of the range.
No,
Yeah.
this is the BB. Okay. This is them. So they're checking. This is their lead range.
No, that's better.
Very small.
Kings and queens.
Yep.
Yeah. It's better.
There's some
Flushes, mostly flushes. He's gonna
Well,
I
leave.
mean, it's
draw.
it's 95% check. Fuck this lead.
yeah, true. Cut off. This is where shit gets kind of crazy, right? Oh, okay. So we still do have, that small bet thing. Here it is. It is disguised as a 20% bet.
19 combos.
So here we go. Yeah,
Love it.
kings and your queens are mixing it in. This is
You block the straight, yeah.
You're also mixing it in and a little inducing with the straight a little bit, just the queen. The king queen though wants to go
Mostly
big.
Queens and kings. That's it.
Nutters.
7, 8.
It really wants to.
In
push
real
out
life,
those-
people aren't gonna give you that small block bet with a king in there
True.
usually. So that's why I think they're gonna do it a lot with like a pair or 2 pair that will never fold.
Well, this is on the turn right now. I'm just looking at
Oh,
the
okay.
turn action. We aren't on the river, so this is your river turn betting strategy. So we're asking like about some of our bluffs and things like that. When you get here with like an ace high, ace 5, go for the goal.
Spade blocker, spades.
And it
usually got
also-
spade.
And it also likes the 20% here as well. We can look at the report. Yay. Cut off. Here we go. That can't be right. Oh, that's with this specific.
He checks us what you're doing on the.
That's with our specific hand. That's why it says all the right because it says
No,
check 0%.
No, it's just this is just check our turn cards.
Yeah, but it just percentage here says we're doing
You're in
this.
cutoff, aren't you? Why, weren't we button?
No, we were cut off on this one.
Oh, okay. Geez, I didn't even know where I was at.
Why does this look so crazy to me? And why does this tell me I'm betting 98% of the time? It has to be our specific hand using that size. And then the rest of our range is the rest of these actions. Or with our hand on these specific
So-
cards.
This is when he checked. You didn't want him to lead again?
BB,
He
they
led.
check.
We
No,
check
no,
the entire
th-
range.
No, this is turn. When we get there,
turn.
they check to us, and then this is our strategy.
Okay.
It says this.
Well, that's because you just have that one clicked, but
Oh, but why does it
yeah,
say?
if you don't, if you have them all unclicked, like you have it
I
now.
do have. I don't have anything clicked. I'm just wondering why it says 98%. I'm wondering if this. I'm just trying to interpret why the percentage
So
says.
what I think it is, I think we probably have like 1/10 of a hand in our checking range. There's a lot of green, but we have like fragments of all these.
Go back to strategy, Evie.
We
Okay,
hold
you
on,
don't
this
have
is-
any hands checked. I was wondering if maybe you had a hand
No, look.
clicked.
No, we're checking a lot more than that. We're checking our 10x. We're checking King Jack. We're checking some 9x, Ace 9 checking. We're using some of these as bluffs. We are going to use. This is kind of cool. We're still going to like bluff some of our under pairs and some of these really raggedy. We're betting our straights with the 7 at some frequency. I would prefer to just bet small and check it. I bet small. 8 sets are betting. All your sets continue to bet in your straights, and then a lot of checking. 60% of the time we're checking.
Yeah,
I was gonna.
Liner.
Yeah, I mean these 4-line boards is interesting. When we're this deep effective, it shows you can bet, but I mean it doesn't use a lot of large betting. It is centered around the nuts. I didn't see a lot of large bet bluffing. There was a handful of hands, but most of the hands we're bluffing, we're going 20%. Let's do one more. Who we got in the house? They can do one. Who wants to finish it off? Who hasn't done one? Jambalance, you've been in here chilling. I don't think I've called on you, man. You've been here since the beginning. If you would like to play this hand, you're more than welcome to. If you're still out there. I'm working and listening. Oh, yo, you're good, friend. Caught on Ryan, BP. Everybody's done one at this point. Larry, did you do? We have 2 Larry H. Would you like to play this one, or have you been doing them? Or Larry Smiley Face? I can't remember which one.
Okay, Larry smiley face here. I'll take it.
Hey, damn, he just hijacked you, Larry H. You see how they doing you, man? Okay.
There can be only one.
There can only be Larry.
Only one smiley face. I think
Connected
this is a range
two-tone.
bet. I think this it's a 50-50 equity kind of board. I think it's a range bet around 33%.
33%. Anybody gonna use a large sizing on this connected board? We've done all connected boards today, and I think it's good because in the rainbow boards we'll just eat. So
Well,
33. Go ahead.
No, he's playing the hand. I mean, I agree with him. Yeah,
Do we polarize more without a spade?
bet small connected.
Nah.
I kind of think we know. These spots get tricky. I haven't been
Last
here for the whole
time-
session, but
Last time we
Yeah, I was
range
thinking
bet
maybe.
and we had a spade,
this time
without
we
a
don't.
spade, maybe we guys can size up. I don't know.
I think this draw favors your range a little bit more, so you could probably size up if you want to, or just bet 33. I don't know.
E33. Yeah, I think this is gonna be fun. It might make some of this, so when we do these studying these spots, sometime it does show some of these 2 paint connected boards that are good for our range, mix in some bigger sizings, and we are 35 effective deep. So I wonder if it just does go 3.25.
And we don't have a spade.
And we don't, but let's go 33. Like
Queen's a
Larry
good
was
card
thinking.
for big blinds.
It's
We
not
do
crazy.
some.
It's not
No,
crazy.
Not crazy.
Yeah, but this is
Also,
we
I
just
was
say-
entirely off with the equity. Look how much higher our equity is on this board, 60 to 40.
Mhm.
Oh, we're crushing. Yeah.
Oh
this
yeah,
is-
we raise queen,
yeah.
queens, tens.
Yeah, it wants to bet smaller. I guess it wants to realize our equity on the turn. Whatever.
All right, so we do that. Get check raised. Nope, call. Always a fun spot now. And these are the kind of boards we want to see as well, how we're gonna configure our double barrel strategy. We double barreling 10x. These are the kind of spots I ask myself as well, like. So what are you doing here, Larry? You gonna barrel this, and what size if you do?
So one Faraz hack is how much would it suck to get check raised here? And it would suck a lot. And so this is always the point where you're like, do you polarize or do you realize your equity?
Well, I would say he didn't check raise turn and the 4's a brick. I mean, he didn't check raise flop and 4's a brick, so I don't.
It's not that bad to
What do you
raise
check
fold here.
raises now?
You got a lot
What do
of
you check?
better hands you would hate to raise fold here. This one ain't so bad.
This
You
one's
don't
pretty
have a
bad.
spade.
This one's pretty bad. We have an open ender and an over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
My
we-
coach tells me I double barrel too much, so I'm gonna check back.
100%
Um,
double barreling.
It'd be very hard for me to find a fold unless it was a check raise jam.
I'm curious about this spot because I think that if I had a 10, I would be more likely to double barrel than this hand because I'm
Yeah.
targeting this hand. When I have this hand, they're more pair heavy, which means
You're-
this double barrel is going to work less.
You're gonna cap your range when we need to make an 8, a 10x fold. We're blocking king,
Ace
queen.
highs.
We have king high. We're just gonna lose to like an 8. I'm always barreling this
Yeah,
spot,
I'm
and I need to
not-
see. I would never not.
Well, I
barrel
didn't
here.
say I wasn't barreling river. I said I might not barrel here.
Yeah, but you
So
cap
if,
range.
if it's an 8, he's going to check the river and then we can. I have queens that I check back here for sure.
Yeah, but
Well,
I'm curious. This is
well,
an interesting spot.
And 10s.
Yeah,
All
you know
right,
what?
clearly
I mean,
lost
I don't
control
know.
of this hand.
Look at this. This is a great way to end because this is a spot where I think a lot of us have different opinions.
Yeah, I'm just
Let-
kidding. This is a very interesting spot and when we see a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I see it. I
Yeah.
said a
Because
lot
you're
of
betting
king
only to
high
get an
draws.
8 to fold for the most part. Like that's
And
it.
ace highs. Some ace highs.
Draws.
Ace 5, ace
They don't
6,
fold.
ace 7.
All right, what's
You know
five?
what?
I'm gonna
I
go-
think you can mix between checking and betting big.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I
make a
think.
shout out to the OG Faraz, our long lost and departed Faraz Jaka and check.
Lots to party.
53%.
That's right.
Wow,
The man
53%.
knows his
Yeah.
hacks.
See, I was
Yeah.
right. I was right. Checking. or
I would
betting
do
big.
this.
It's all the
Man.
freaking same. It's
I
all
would've went
3.46.
55
I
probably.
Yeah,
would've
well,
went
the frequencies
No,
are much
baby, I
better.
got 2 checks, not one
Yeah,
check.
because you could check, realize your equity, and if he's passive and or whatever, and then bet big and get him to fold.
I do this more than I check.
I check way more than I bet
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I
But
bet this.
I'd be interested to see what the study says about betting your
Yeah, I'll probably
10x.
check.
I would wreck some souls. Up now, what? Turn your hand into a bluff king high. Have enough showdown, or you're never
No,
making an 8 roll.
bluff it right
Larry,
now.
wait, that easy ace king.
I
One
might bluff some worse
hand,
things,
one
but
man.
I'm not bluffing this.
Jack,
Sorry.
no influence.
I mean, I would
easy.
argue that we have ways to make an 8 fold here.
Yeah, I
Told
don't
you, I
know.
have to
You know what?
remind
I
you
take
as
it
well.
back.
Larry's playing the hand. Let Larry go first.
I just said we have ways.
My goodness.
So yeah, so clearly his range is chock full of 8s that fold, 4s that fold. So we're going to bluff this. The only question is sizing. And I bet there's some cheeky. No, there's never that. Never mind. I think you go. I don't think you overbet. I think you go 8.5.
Okay. Now you guys can let the opinions flood in. And what are you guys doing here? Larry's going.
He only has like 2 combos of 4s. You got like king 4 suited and maybe jack 4 suited maybe and
What does that have to do?
I agree. I agree. Pot or over pot. I
ace
agree.
4 suited, I guess. That's like 3 combos. So, I mean, I'm not in the business of trying to get a pair to fold anymore after I cap myself on a turn.
It felt dead. We've capped our range. Are
What
we
is
ever-
your target then? What are you targeting? Or are you just
You're not
giving up?
making anything fold, right? Or we're
Yes,
just
you
giving
are.
up now?
I mean,
Put,
I
four,
could go.
put
if I like
14 out
king
there and watch
5,
an
I
8
might-
fold and watch a
Look like
10
king
shit
5, king
themselves.
6.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
you have to. I mean, he's pretty capped. He doesn't have a queen when he checks either, right?
Yep.
So we
Block
can put
is
his ass in
folding
hell
range.
and put him in 14 land or check.
I love
I'm never
working.
using. If I'm betting, it's for
Yeah.
myself.
Theoretically,
I am
Theoretically, a 10 should never fold.
14.
here. I don't think you're targeting a 10.
In
Also,
real
another
life, they
point
start to
make here
fold.
is that,
No.
sorry,
Yeah,
another
yeah.
point to
Like
make here is
8s,
that
9s, jacks, hell.
So
Right.
I think the
solver
bluffing
actually
size is gonna be
will end up checking their
61%.
queens here a lot because solver's assuming that we're gonna bluff at the right frequency.
Sure.
Yeah, I
You
think the
wouldn't-
solver is gonna use
It's
this as
gonna
a
have-
check back. Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
not.
Solver's gonna have
So,
a lot more than
yeah,
the population.
then population.
I'm gonna bluff like king 5 here, say king 6, shit like that, and I'm gonna go like bet 6 with those combos.
If you would have bet turn, you can feasibly rep a queen. So when you check turn, you lost the queen, so a 10's never folding.
Yeah,
So you just have to, you block his folding range with the king and the jack. That's what kind of you're targeting with the bluff.
Go to the turn. Do we
Like,
not
you're
check back
just
some
never getting
some
the
queen on turn?
That's true.
No.
I got
Not
this.
with
Yeah.
flush
Oh,
draw out there.
Oh, not with the
Not
flush on the straight draws.
No. Never.
So let me go ahead and navigate our way through what's actually happening here. And what it looks like. So overall, we start here on the flop, BB check, 35 big blinds. It has us using a lot of different bet sizes, 33 and 55 for dominant. It also mixes this in a little bit.
Quite a bit.
Kind of mixing in all the sizes, but in game we do this. Their calling range. So let's look at what their check raising range is. They're predominantly using this size and two pair, a lot of their best queen X, right? And then I'm assuming all this
Flushes.
stuff over here just flush draws. Flush
And
draw,
then,
flush draw, no flush draw.
Flush draws with a backdoor.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
flush
like
draw.
offsuit gut shots. Sometimes those are our bluffs too, like 7-6.
Yep.
Yeah,
It does
there's-
have some flush draw with nuts combos, just calling right here when you hover that. So if you have the nut flush draw combo like ace-8, you're not just check raise running it, it's too good. Some of the other flush draws, jack-9 is made. So mostly just calling, right?
We'll see.
Mostly call. They call.
That means 40%.
Yeah, they got some check raise in there, so they do call. And then
Check.
they check. And then this is.
So we do have a little bit of queens in our check back range, a little bit, not much.
Yeah, kind of our worst.
You're
queens.
over betting most of them.
Top pair,
Friggin'
queen,
damn it.
5, 6, 7. The rest of
Not
them
much.
are just eating. Is that really going all in?
Yeah, just jam them.
You have a pair and a gutter.
Yep.
125%,
And flush draws never folding.
8, 35
Theoretically.
bigs. My lord.
Just value the fucker.
My lenta. Yeah, I get it. I mean, yeah, we do have some 2x
And-
budget.
It's just over betting. It's not going all in. But
So what happened on the river on this hand with the board paired on the
We're
queen? We
getting there.
checked.
We haven't
Okay.
got there yet.
We haven't got there yet. We're getting there.
Okay.
Best hands, all of our best hands. Betting, how about ace highs? We turning ace high into a bluff, some of them. Little bit.
Your
Just the
offsuits with the
Um,
blocker, with the ace, yeah.
I'm sorry,
You
can
can
I
go
say?
ham with the ace of spades. here.
Ace-9 is turning a 10 into a bluff on the turn. Ace-jack continuing
Gutter,
to
gutter.
bet as
Bunch
well.
equity,
Gutter,
double
gutter.
gutter.
Turn your ace high into a bluff, double barrel. Some frequency,
What's the whole range look like? Do we have tens that we check on the turn? That's what I was wondering.
never.
Ace
Oh,
10, king 10,
Oh, ace-10, king-10. Yeah, that's a
nine,
good question.
10, 7, 10, 6.
10-9, 10-7, 10-6.
Damn, so
Yeah,
good
start
question.
Your best tens, I guess.
Jack-10 is good enough to bet.
Best and worst.
Because we want to be able to have the straight when we get there. I know the solver likes
Mhm.
betting with some of its middle pair and draws. It feels a little unnatural, but the solver really likes to have the straight when it gets there. So it likes to bet mid pair and straight draws a lot.
It checks here, right? It checks ace 10, middle pair. Ace 10.
It check
suited,
ace 10,
no.
king 10, but it bets Jack 10. Jack 10 probably betting, checking here with the flush draws is betting a little bit. King Jack. See, I would just always bet the King Jack. I can't believe. But we wants us to have a spade a lot.
Oh yeah, spade. We're never checking.
Yeah, with spade, we're never checking. Good. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and get to.
I guess you have your worst queens here that you.
So
do
in
get
game, we bet what?
your best
55?
10.
Oh, we checked it.
We checked it in game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know that's a very unusual choice for you sixes.
It is. It really is. I was confused. That's why I'm not used to this. Check, check. Now this is their range. Wow, this is pretty. Look at all these colors.
Mhm.
He's
There's a
jamming. his
lot going
queen.
on. Dude, they are only checking 15% of the time.
When you cap your
When you
turn, he's
cap
just
your-
freaking
Yeah, they're
jam his
so
queen.
capped.
Dude, it is so hard.
So what's the cutoff bluff range?
So when they, the cutoff bluff range. So when they actually check again, this is their checking range, right? There's some fours, ace high.
Ace-9.
There's
Pure checking.
queen 8 mixing
Showdown
a little
races
bit.
are
Most of it
showdown a
is
little bit.
just
Yeah.
This is why we're not gonna need a large bluff size. We're pretty much targeting ace highs, and if we use like
Yeah.
a shitty
Okay.
king,
Check.
we're just
Yeah.
targeting some.
Here you go,
king highs,
Tom.
So we'll probably go like 6.
so. Here you go.
Yeah, 6.
All right. So our hand too good. So the nine highs are all going crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
9 high, 7-6,
7-5,
7-5.
5.
So it was
6-5.
right move, wrong hand. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
None of your ace high. You don't turn
Yeah.
ace high into a bluff, or king or 10x are now all betting at this
Tens
point.
for value.
10x for value, like you said, turning our 9 high dog shit into a bluff, 6, 7, and 7, 5, all this stuff
Yeah.
unblocking portions of his range. If we
Yeah,
have
it's kinda
spades
like-
and checks, you don't turn your spades into a bluff, right? It's the only
Right.
combos checking of these 7 high combos. So you don't want to turn spades into a bluff unless you have 9, 7, and then you just hate the world and go for it.
I think it's kind of just like that Jack 10 hand we had earlier, where all your jacks and all your queens just check back on the rivers. You still technically have showdown with king high here.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Well, that's why
like
you,
Toe
that's why you
said,
use your worst king.
Oh,
like Toe said, that you're targeting your exact hand as well. So it's kind of,
Well, you're targeting ace
that
high.
sucks. Yeah,
and
you're
you use
targeting
your
ace
worst
high and
kings. Your worst kings can get some better king highs to fold.
yeah. But yeah, with this combo of king jack, you're still good enough that you're gonna win on a check back the way this was played enough.
Yeah, because when the
Oh.
queen hits the river, it's less likely he has a queen, isn't it? So you
Yeah.
kind of are more inclined to kind of bluff that river there. But here likes to check, right? Didn't it say check?
I think the problem is using the king jack because now you have all the hands you want your opponent to have, right? You block all of their.
Yeah.
you have showdown value. versus
All their
this range.
kings, all their jacks.
Yeah.
Well, he's checking king, he checking some queen high, not queen, jack highs.
Yeah.
Damn, he's not checking much with me. Yeah, I mean, we're just
If you're gonna
loose.
bluff, you probably don't want to have a
Ki-
king and a jack.
King
in there.
9,
Right.
you beat king 9 that he's
So-
checking.
Okay, so I see it prefers a
Right.
9, a 7, a 6.
Oh, all right, guys. I have to get out of here. We've been going for 2.5 hours, but I still want to leave the floor open for you guys to have any questions. Maybe if you guys have a final thought. There's been a lot of things we learned I think can really help us when it comes to barreling today. I felt like today was a really good, strong session. We went for a while. But yeah, did you guys have any questions, final thoughts, or anything?
No, I
Nope.
I just wanted to just go over the the last time we played that if we're gonna continue to barrel on the river, we don't want to block our opponent's draws or things like that.
But
So-
that's not true because we didn't continue barreling because we checked
Yeah.
the turn. So this node that we got to this river is a check turn node where we have a capped range.
Okay.
So we capped our range pretty much when we checked the turn, which is going to allow us to not be able to turn certain combos into a bluff was the big takeaway. Here, your range is too capped to be turning some of, and our king highs has shown up.
I see. So the hand completely changes whether you check or bet the turn.
100%. A lot of
Um,
your strongest and value hands need to be betting the turn, especially in
draws.
situations when there's draws and things present and available, so you can get value protection, and deny equity for that one.
Yeah, and when they check the
Okay.
river, now like they don't have any queen because all the queen bets. So that means there are withdraw or something marginal, right? That's the only thing left. So you get to attack that.
So pretty much like in layman's terms, depending on how the turn plays out, is how the river is
Yep.
gonna play out, not the pre-flop or flop. I mean, of course that's important, but more the turn.
The turns
And
where all the
it's-
money's made in this game.
Hmm.
It's a famous saying.
Okay.
Yep. And anybody else have anything before we get out?
The flush thing, I think we need to drill home again too. When the flush comes in, most of the time we don't have big bets. So
Uh,
flush completers, turns and rivers. Yeah.
Flush and straight draw completers, and a lot of the time it
Yep.
was using the big bets. It actually just had it, right? Like,
Right.
It's just nuts.
it
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
bluffing with dog shit, no non-blocker, non-made hands for big sizings. It was
Yep,
going
yep,
small. You don't have massive bet bluff sizes on flush straight draw completers without it. Very good
More liners.
call
yeah.
as well. Good call, Matt. Yep.
And
Yeah.
don't be afraid to bet the nuts on the turn.
There are so little combos of king genius beach bet checking. I imagine we won't bet because some aces will call. Yes, sir. Coin flip. I'm sorry I missed that. And one last thing before we get out of here, I do want to say if you guys could show up tomorrow, show some support. We have the Ask Me Anything with a Rom. Rom's a crusher. You know, he's got a bunch of circuit rings. He has 3 mil in live earnings,
Main event final
couple
table.
couple million in online earnings. You know, he's new coach here at PC, so we want to make him feel welcome. And if you guys would be so kind to get 1 or 2 questions in there in the thread, or just show up tomorrow and engage, you know, make them feel welcome. And we'll be there. Me and Toe will be there for that. So look forward to that. It's just gonna be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Hey,
Also, if you
Sixes,
guys
tried
didn't
to go in
notice,
and-
there are a bunch of new emotes and reactions that are all coaching related. You can go play with those in the Discord as well.
Sixes, I tried to go in and put some questions in beforehand. He's asked me anything, but I couldn't figure it out how to actually where to post questions for around.
Oh, do you have a thread, Sixes?
Yeah, I do have a thread. I have a thread. Yeah, I have a thread up there. I just didn't include it on the last one. I don't know how to carry it over, but I have a thread available.
I don't see the thread. I think that might be the problem.
No, there's a thread for sure.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. But I have a thread. I will just share
Threads.
that.
You know, post that in the study group and I'll go put some questions in.
I appreciate that, buddy. And yeah, tomorrow, look for that 3 p.m. And if you guys are enjoying this, you know, let more people know. Let's get this thing going. I think it's really helping my game out, and I really hope you guys are getting value from it. So yeah, make sure to let Jay and the guys know that you guys are getting value from this. And if you guys ever need anything else, now that all the traveling and things are like that is pretty much over, at least for me, we're going to be working to get Discord running even better. So thank you guys for the support, and let me know if you need anything else.
Thanks for the session, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you,
final
guys.
words? Toe,
Yeah,
you
means a
good?
lot. See you guys
I'm
tomorrow.
good.
Thank you guys. Appreciate your support, and good luck out there, man. We will talk next week, and we'll be back for the study stream and the AMA. We do shit every day. Let's go. Take care, guys. Peace out.